It is 9:45 on a football Friday night. Jon Holder sitting with you on high school football, Alabama after the game, presented by the Calhoun County Commission. It is the last football Friday night of the regular season of high school football. Next Friday night, we will be into playoff action with one exception tonight. Jacksonville Christian in the state semifinals in 8-man football. We'll bring you highlights of that game and also have the final score for you. But for everybody else, not only was it the final week of the regular season of high school football, but also this was all non-region play tonight. Just very few region games being played across the state of Alabama on this football Friday night. Scores are pouring in. Some games are just ending right now. We've had some surprises. We've had some high-scoring games, some shockers tonight, and some expected results as well. Let's take you now to the Oxford Lumber and Ace Hardware scoreboard and get you up to date on all the final scores from games across East Alabama and the state of Alabama. First meeting tonight between Sylacauga and Piedmont down at Legion Stadium in Sylacauga. This game just went final. Number 3 in 3A Piedmont, a winner over Sylacauga. That game just went final literally a few seconds ago, right before we came on the air. Piedmont 41, Sylacauga 20. Piedmont 41, Sylacauga 20, as the Bulldogs will go to 8-2. Sylacauga will finish the 2022 campaign at 0-10 overall. Westbrook Christian and White Plains. We will have highlights of this game coming from Rainbow City. Westbrook Christian tonight, big winners over White Plains. I think that was 47-27. We'll double check that. But Westbrook Christian did win the game over White Plains. Westbrook had never lost to White Plains, and they remain now undefeated all time against the Wildcats with that 47-27 win tonight in Rainbow City. Highlights of that game coming. Also tonight, this game just went final. We got that reverse. Cedar Bluff actually won the game. Cedar Bluff over Donahoe, 34-0. We got that reverse. We'll fix that. But Cedar Bluff did win the game over Donahoe tonight, 34-0. There you see the correct final score. Cedar Bluff was in a must-win situation. They were in a three-way tie for the last playoff berth in Class 1A Region 7. They needed to win tonight to go to the playoffs. If they had lost the game, Decatur Heritage would have had the tiebreaker. So Cedar Bluff wins tonight at Donahoe. They are going to the Class 1A state playoffs. We will have the head coach of the Cedar Bluff Tigers, Coach Alan Beckett. And to be honest with you folks, we're expecting the entire Cedar Bluff football team to be with us live right here in studio at our RMC Media Center at Parker Memorial Baptist Church at Anniston a little bit later on. That game just went final about 5 minutes ago up at Lynchfield as Cedar Bluff spoils Donahoe's homecoming tonight. We'll bring you some homecoming king and queen and homecoming court stuff from Donahoe tonight as well. Cedar Bluff wins it 34-0. Great game tonight. Oxford and Jacksonville. We'll talk about this. First time that Oxford had played a team from Calhoun County in 16 years. First time they had played Jacksonville in 21 years. Oxford wins the game tonight. 6A Oxford beating number 7 in 4A Jacksonville at Lamar Field in Oxford. We will have highlights of that game. The head coach of the Oxford Yellow Jackets, Sam Adams, will be with us live in studio. The Jacksonville Golden Eagle cheerleaders will be with us tonight live in studio. Oxford wins the game 34-28. Good to see a Calhoun County rivalry from the old days back again tonight at Lamar Field. Walter, Wellborn, and Cleburne County, their first meeting in 17 years tonight over on senior night at the pit in Heflin. Walter Wellborn jumped out to a 21-0 lead in the first quarter. And then it was a dogfight the rest of the way, but Wellborn wins the game over Cleburne County 27-9. Wellborn 27, Cleburne County 9. Highlights of that game coming from the pit in Heflin. Sachs and Talladega, this game is not final yet, but Sachs was leading 42-17 in the second half. So it looks like Sachs is going to go to 7-3. If Sachs wins that game, that would be the 100th career win for Sachs head football coach Jonathan Miller. They're just a few moments away from wrapping up that game down at Mary Dumas Stadium in Talladega. Last night, Bill Bryan Stadium in Weaver. Weaver was up 14-0 in the first quarter, but Pleasant Valley fought back in the second half. They beat the Weaver Bearcats last night 28-22. We'll have highlights of that game from Bill Bryan Stadium in Weaver from last night. We mentioned playoff action. The semifinals of the Christian Football Association taking place tonight in Jacksonville at Tommy Miller Field. Jacksonville Christian in a regular season rematch with Tabernacle. The first time they played, we had highlights of that game. JCA won 58-52. Playing tonight again now in the semifinals. The winner will go to the state championship game next week in Tuscaloosa. Still looking for a final in that game from JCA. This will be the upset of the night. Ranburne tonight goes into Hewlin-Humphrey Stadium in Wedowee. They beat Randolph County, handing the Tigers only their second loss. Ranburne wins it 27-18. Avion Willis, the great quarterback from Randolph County, did not play in the game tonight. But Ranburne, take your hat off to Stephen Bailey and the Bulldogs as they go in and beat Randolph County tonight 27-18. Wadley, an all Randolph County matchup tonight down at Wadley and Woodland at Curtis Lynch Stadium in Wadley. Wadley beats Woodland 49-0. The Bulldogs on their way to the Class 1A state playoffs. Great game tonight being played at Volunteer Stadium in Clay County, central of Clay County, 35-30, a shootout against a very good 6A Wetumpka team. Clay Central wins it over Wetumpka 35-30. Holy Spirit and Fayetteville tonight playing in Tuscaloosa. Holy Spirit Catholic beats Fayetteville 41-14 in Tuscaloosa tonight as the Titans beat the Wolves 41-14. Childersburg and Winterboro still looking for a final in that Talladega County matchup being played at John Cox Stadium in Childersburg tonight. Talladega County Central and Galesville. TCC forfeited last week to Wadley, playing tonight at home at Howell Cove against the Galesville Trojans. Still looking for a final in that game. We'll have highlights of this game from Munford last night. Munford was trailing Asheville 9-7 at halftime, but Munford with a big third quarter. They come from behind. They beat the Asheville Bulldogs in a penalty-filled game last night down at Munford Stadium. Munford wins the game over Asheville 24-9. Lincoln and Beauregard playing at Lincoln. Lincoln trying to get their first ever win over the Beauregard Hornets. Still looking for a final score on that game from Keith Howard Memorial Stadium in Lincoln. Another Thursday night game, and it was this was not the basketball game at Pell City last night. This is the football score. Pell City beat Springville 70-40 last night at Pete Rich Alumni Stadium in Pell City. Victory Christian and Coosa Christian, no final, but late in the game, Coosa was beating Victory 40-7. Coosa Christian on their way to the Class 1A playoffs, hosting a playoff game in Gadsden next week, on their way to their sixth win of the season, leading Victory late 40-7. Dora was leading St. Clair County late, again not final yet, but Dora leading over St. Clair County 34-6 over in Walker County at Dora. Big game tonight between Fort Payne and Cherokee County. Cherokee County had wrapped up the region title in Class 4A Region 6, but they go on the road to take on a very good, this is an 8-2 6A Fort Payne team tonight in Fort Payne. Number 8 in 4A Cherokee County falls to Fort Payne tonight 35-16. The Gaston Bulldogs win and win big. They go up to Brindley Mountain in Marshall County and they beat the Lions tonight 50-6. Third win of the season for Coach Matt Harris and the Gaston Bulldogs as they beat Brindley Mountain 50-6. Great Etowah County matchup tonight at the Lions Den in Sardis. Sardis and Hoax Bluff, two teams not going to the playoffs. Big rival game though. Sardis wins it 16-14 over the Hoax Bluff Eagles. Another all Etowah County matchup tonight in Walnut Grove. West End tonight primes up for the Class 2A playoffs as they end Glencoe's season. West End 25, Glencoe 17, the final score at Walnut Grove. South Side and Etowah, huge game tonight. Etowah County rivals, both teams going to the state playoffs, playing at Barney Hood Stadium in Southside. We will have highlights of this game. Etowah's now won 5 of the last 7 meetings. Etowah tonight rolls over Southside 42-26. Etowah 42, Southside 26. 2 games involving top 10 teams playing each other tonight in the state of Alabama. But this was huge. Number 1 in 3A Mars Hill Bible at home in Florence tonight. The number 1 team in 3A taking on the number 2 team in 1A. You know, just 3 or 4 years ago, Mars Hill was 1A, but because of competitive balance, they moved all the way to 3A. Mars Hill Bible has their way with Linden tonight, coming up from West Alabama. Mars Hill wins it 35-6 the final. The other game involving top 10 teams in the state of Alabama was at Garrett Stadium in Phoenix City. Number 2 in 7A Central of Phoenix City beating number 9 in 7A Prattville. This was a region game tonight in Class 7A Region 2. Central Phoenix City, the number 2 team in the state, winning over Prattville tonight and that was by a score of 27-7, Central Phoenix City over Prattville. Number of ways to connect with us here at High School Football Alabama after the game. You can go to our website, highschoolfootballalabama.com. There's lots of information there about the show. Archive shows there as well. And the way to watch the show, one of the best ways, is to go to YouTube. Lots of folks each week going to YouTube. You don't have to sign up or have an account. You can search for After the Game. You can search for Jon Holder. You can search for High School Football Alabama. It will come up, and you can watch us there on YouTube. Hook that up to your TV, your Roku, or whatever, and you can watch the game right there at the comfort of your home on television or anywhere you are in the world on your smart device at YouTube, High School Football Alabama, and, of course, on Facebook, High School Football Alabama, our Facebook page streaming live there every Friday night. Plus, during the week, we have all kinds of information. That's where you'll see our award winners. We'll have live updates tonight. Had a Facebook Live from Oxford, one last night from Weaver. So don't miss that. Go to our Facebook page. Follow us there. A growing number of followers. We're averaging about 100 to 200 new followers a week on our Facebook page at High School Football Alabama. Go there to connect with us as well. I want to tell you about the folks at Johnson's Giant Foods. 5 locations to serve you here in East Alabama. They bring you our Assistant Coach of the Week. This is the place to go for all of your meats. That's where I buy my meats. I'll tell you, they have the best meats in East Alabama. They also have a deli that is phenomenal with the chicken fingers, the ribs, the chicken and dressing, the fresh vegetables, and of course, they've got everything else that you need for tailgate parties, whatever it is, all at Johnson's Giant Food. Bringing you our Assistant Coach of the Week. We'll announce this week's winner coming up a little bit later on. They get a $25 gift certificate from Johnson's Giant Food. 5 locations now in East Alabama, East Gadsden, downtown Gadsden, Etowah, also in Coldwater and in Jacksonville. We've got lots going on. You see our folks working there hard behind the scenes. We've got FCA coming up. We've got Sam Adams from Oxford. We've got the coach from Cedar Bluff coming in, and the entire Cedar Bluff football team, the Jacksonville cheerleaders, all of that coming up between now and 12 midnight on High School Football Alabama as we roll on a Football Friday night.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of J.D. Hess, Danny Shears, Fred Wilson, Carolyn Henderson, and Lee Patterson, asked you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. Beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums. Our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly support the arts. If you are considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You'll be glad you did. When you shop at Pee Wee Turner Motors, you will be a winner. As lifelong supporters of East Alabama athletics, we at Pee Wee Turner Motors would like to invite you to check out our quality inventory of trucks, cars, and SUVs at peeweeturnermotors.net. We always guarantee credit approval and look forward to serving you and your family at Pee Wee Turner Motors on Quintard Avenue, Anniston.
Your neighborhood Grub Mart is your one-stop shop for everything you need when you're on the go. Grub Mart features the best prices on Coke and Pepsi products and is the home to the 99-cent bag of ice every day. And Grub Mart is your exclusive home for the popcorn bucket. Purchase yours for only $5.99, then bring it for free refills throughout the year. And save every day with your Grub Mart Super Saver card. When you're on the go, it's good to know Grub Mart has everything you need. Gas, diesel, and delicious Oleo donuts. In business over 78 years, visit your local Grub Mart today.
Hi, this is Jimmy Newman from Oxford Lumber. I've kicked off many times in my football days, and that's an exciting play. When you're ready to kick off your next building or remodeling project, let us make sure you start your project off right, with the right material at the right price so you can score big and get the job done. Stop by and see our local guys with over 60 years of experience serving you. Come by any one of our 4 locations in Oxford, Talladega, Jacksonville, or Roanoke. And don't forget about our low price guarantee.
Cash back. Plain and simple. That's what you'll get on the Noble Bank Cash Back account. No tricks, no gimmicky names. Just free accounts that pay you cash back. If unlimited transactions, fraud protection, and refunds on ATM withdrawal fees nationwide sounds like your kind of banking, visit us at noblebank.com and learn more about the Noble Cash Back account. Welcome to personal banking. Welcome to Noble Bank and Trust. NobleBank.com. Member FDIC.
We're back on high school football, Alabama after the game, presented by the Calhoun County Commission. Jon Holder with you on a football Friday night. We've got lots going on. Stick with us. Final scores coming in, lots of highlights, lots of special guests coming up. Want to take you back to yesterday, a very special event with the folks from Drive Safe Alabama. Had a special event down at the Oxford Civic Center. What they're trying to do is encourage teen drivers. This is Halloween weekend. It's homecoming at some places. There are a lot of crazy things going on out there, and they're trying to encourage safe driving. And with that, Allison Green from Drive Safe Alabama was there. We're going to hear from her. And also, Mike Lutzenkirchen was in. And of course, his son, the late Philip Lutzenkirchen, great football player for the Auburn Tigers, tragically was killed in an automobile accident involving alcohol. Now his dad is traveling around the country, specifically here in the Southeast, encouraging safe driving habits. And so Tommy Wood called up yesterday at the Oxford Civic Center with Allison Green from Drive Safe Alabama and also Mike Lutzenkirchen.
We are holding Your Keys to Drive event because the teen crashes are the second leading cause of death for teens in this country, and we want to do whatever we can to keep our teens safe on the road.
I want anybody that's starting out at point A that's going to go to point B, no matter where you're at, no matter what you're driving, no matter what your experience is, to make smart decisions behind the wheel so that you get there without incident. And if we do that, we start to minimize the number of injuries, crashes, and fatalities that are taking place in vehicles and in pedestrians, which is a growing cause of injury. When I asked the question who knew Philip was after they saw the video, highlight video of Philip on and off the field, I'd say 20% of the hands went up. So as you kids get older, means I'm getting older, Philip's getting older, every day I wake up is one more day past his time on earth. You get concerned about the relevancy of Philip. But as long as we keep growing the foundation and migrating and figuring out things like 43 key seconds and protected by 43 key seconds, I think there's going to be value there. Our intent is to do this foundation well beyond my time here if it's making a difference.
Plains. And we are back here on High School Football Alabama. You see more scenes and pictures from the event that was held at the Oxford Civic Center on yesterday. Thanks to Tommy Wood for providing that for us with Drive Safe Alabama. We bring some more special guests with us live in the studio now here on High School Football Alabama after the game. We have Ryan Limbaugh and Cole Limbaugh from the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Very special event. We want to bring these guys in for a few minutes with us because two things happening. One, we'll talk about the transition in just a moment, but the first and foremost that we want to tell folks about is this Wednesday night, Chocowacca Park in Oxford, an outstanding event for high school kids all across East Alabama. Fields of Faith, 6 o'clock is the start time. Guys, jump in here and tell us what's going to happen at Chocowacca Park Wednesday night.
John, before I went over to the Oxford-Jacksonville game tonight, I hopped in a store and I had a teenage guy just say, he saw my FCA hat on and he said, "Hey, sir, do you ever get discouraged in your faith or have questions or anything?" And man, I was able to say yes, number one, but number two, man, you should meet us over at Chocowacca Park on Wednesday night at 6 o'clock because you're going to hear about 5 teenagers that are your age be able to share their faith in the Lord Jesus Christ and how they remain encouraged in their faith. And so really, John, what it is, it's hundreds of students who are going to gather together and they're going to give a testimony about their faith in the Lord Jesus. They're going to read scripture and pray and sing together, but mostly it is peers, it is high school students who are sharing their faith with other high school students and calling them to trust in the Lord as well.
This is a totally free event. There's going to be all kinds of things going on. Testimonies, music, games. Tell us what all's going to happen out there. And this is not just for kids. Adults are invited, but this is geared toward junior high, high school, college-age students, right?
Yeah, so all ages are welcome, and we'll have a lineup of great student testimonies that will share about their faith. And we'll have food for the concession stand that'll be available, so you can bring a little pocket change to get you some food there. We'll have games, tailgate-type games going on before that. It's going to be a great time.
Going to be a great night. Lives have literally been changed in the past with the Fellowship of Christian Athletes through this event. Great event out there. Folks from all over East Alabama will be coming to that. Now, we're wondering, I've seen Ryan Limbaugh before. Who is this Cole Limbaugh guy? Folks in Talladega County know, but there's a transition happening with the Cheaha Valley FCA and a transition happening at the statewide level with the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Guys, tell us what is happening and why you're both here on the set with us tonight.
Well, I'll kick it off and just say, Limbaugh is going to continue to be leading the Fellowship of Christian Athletes in the Chehaw Valley. He's just about 5 inches taller and 18 years younger and got a lot more hair and a little bit stronger. But nevertheless, it's going to keep rolling by God's grace. Cole is actually my cousin, and we've been working together for about 7 years. He's been in the Talladega County area, and I've been up here, but we do a lot together and have done for the last 7 years. But John, I've been asked to become the state director for FCA, and so I'm going to be traveling all the way up to Huntsville and Ardmore and all the way down to Mobile and Gulf Shores and everywhere in between to try to basically reach every coach and every athlete for Jesus Christ at every school campus in this state. And so I'm excited about working with all of our leaders and all of our staff people and volunteers throughout the state of Alabama.
You've been hard at work, Cole, already here in the Chehaw Valley, but this event coming up Wednesday, I guess, will kind of be the big debut for you here in the Chehaw Valley.
Yeah, we're in the middle of the transition, and it'll take some time to get settled in, but this will kind of be like the first big public event that we've had. So looking forward to that, and really just excited about the future of the ministry here in the Chehaw Valley. There's been so many awesome things taking place, and we're excited to see those continue on and grow even bigger in the future.
Some great things going on. You are not going anywhere, though. Folks, you're going to be running this not out of Montgomery or Birmingham. You're going to be running the statewide office and all of your duties still right here in Calhoun County, right, Ryan?
I am, John. I love it here. I love the people of Calhoun County, of the Chehaw Valley. I've developed deep relationships with so many people, and I just essentially don't want to leave. And so I just have told everybody it's just basically going to be an hour further drive for me wherever I go, except a couple of places, and I'm willing to make that sacrifice to hang around the people, the church, the believers, the community, the coaches that I've grown to love so much.
And Cole, you're living in Childersburg now, but you'll be moving to the White Plains area. You'll be moving into the heart of the Chehaw Valley coming up within a month, right?
Yeah, we're really excited. So a little bit bittersweet. Childersburg is our hometown, and we've been there all but the 4 years that I was in college playing ball at Sanford. So, we love it there, but we're really excited to come up here and hopefully right before Thanksgiving, we've got about 3 or 4 closings that all have to take place in a matter of a day or two. But Lord willing, right there before Thanksgiving, we'll be moving up this way to White Plains.
And before we let these guys get out of here, Cole's dad is Jon Limbaugh. He is the head football coach of the Fayetteville Wolves, and we want to make a correction. Fayetteville won tonight over Holy Spirit Catholic in Tuscaloosa, 41-14. We had that reversed. I don't want to get in trouble with your dad for giving out the wrong score when he actually won the game tonight in Tuscaloosa. Guys, thank you for being with us here on High School Football Alabama after the game. Looking forward to being at Choccolocco Park again. There you see it on the screen. Fields of Faith, Wednesday night, November 2nd. This will be on the soccer fields in the back of the park. Just follow the lights out there at 6 p.m. Come and be a part of that. If you are a young person anywhere in this part of the state of Alabama, we would love to have you at Choccolocco Park for a great evening. Men, thank you so much for what you do for the ministry of preaching the gospel of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ to folks here in East Alabama. Ryan Limbaugh, State Director of the Fellowship for Christian Athletes. Cole Limbaugh, now the Director of the Chehaw Valley FCA, our guest here on High School Football Alabama after the game. Let's talk about Noble Bank and Trust. They bring you our Noble Bank and Trust post-game presser. That's what we just had. All of our guests with those guest interview segments are brought to you by Noble Bank. They have locations all over. They are in Anniston, they're in Oxford, they're in Alexandria and Heflin, even in the Summit in Birmingham. And if you call their number, if you call a Noble Bank branch, you're always going to get a live person. Great supporters not only of High School Football Alabama, but also the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. When we come back, more scores, highlights, special guests as we roll toward 12 midnight on High School Football Alabama after the game, live on Facebook and YouTube.
My dad taught me to fish right here years ago. But when an old sports injury started slowing him down, I knew we'd need to search for the latest procedures in knee and hip replacement, with physical therapy tailored to his needs, a dedicated team of doctors and nurses, and he'd want a fast recovery time. So where'd he find all that?
Right here at RMC.
At Farmers and Merchants Bank, we're showing off our school spirit with our newly designed vertical Spirit debit cards. Now these are customized with your favorite school's logo, and half of every Spirit card purchased goes toward your school. So, show off your colors and support your local school with the F&M Spirit debit card. You can learn more at fnm.bank. Member FDIC.
Aniston Orthopedics continues to provide a legacy of outstanding sports injury care on and off the field, keeping our players in the game. Aniston Orthopedics offers our Saturday morning sports injury clinic from 8 to 10 a.m. throughout the high school football season. Aniston Orthopedics also offers full-service physical therapy and occupational therapy departments. To learn more, visit our website at www.anistonortho.com. Aniston Orthopedics, located in the Tyler Center adjacent to RMC.
Your home is a reflection of you, whether that's classic, farm style, or something unique. We at Ted's Carpet and Floor understand that, and we'll help you through the selection, finance, and installation process. We have an extensive selection of designer tiles, carpet, laminate, and hardwood. Let us help you choose the perfect granite or quartz to customize your kitchen or bathroom. We offer free in-home measurements, estimates, and design consultations. Ted's Carpet and Floor, your style, our passion.
Are you ready for some football? Come in all month long and take a test drive at Team 1 Chevrolet and have a chance to win an Alabama, Auburn tailgate, or the ultimate tailgate package. Log on to ChevroletofGadsden.com for complete details. Chevrolet of Gadsden, where everyone's a winner. Someone's going to win an Alabama tailgate, someone's going to win an Auburn tailgate, and somebody's going to win the ultimate grand prize, including grill, generator, and big screen TV. Chevrolet of Gadsden, home of the best people, the best service, period.
It is a bit of a chaotic football Friday night here at High School Football Alabama after the game. Farmers and Merchants Bank, let's tell you about those great folks there. They bring you our Player of the Week. They also bring you our Spirit Scholarship. By the way, tonight's a big night because we are about to unveil in just a few seconds the final 30 candidates from 15 area schools for the Farmers and Merchants Bank Spirit Scholarship. We're going to give you that final round of voting will begin tonight at midnight. We're going to give you those final 30 individuals, those 15 male and 15 female athletes from East Alabama schools that will be competing for that scholarship. The Farmers and Merchants Bank, they have the brand new Spirit cards. These are the debit cards that are now horizontal, or I should say vertical. And so basically they are brand new cards that are in. They're about to open up a brand new branch in Center, and they have given away over $20,000 in scholarship money just in the last 4 years to student athletes right here in East Alabama. And that brings us to the end of the first round of voting. We began with 60 student athletes from every school in Calhoun County plus Spring Garden. You, all the viewers of High School Football Alabama, have been voting for the last several weeks, narrowing that from 60 to 30. We're now down to our final 30, 2 from each school. Each one of those will get a $50 gift card apiece. And then the final 2 athletes chosen by you between midnight tonight and 12 noon on Monday, November the 7th, 2 athletes, 1 male, 1 female athlete, each will receive a $1,500 college scholarship courtesy of Farmers and Merchants Bank. So let's introduce you to the final 30 athletes. We will begin with Jacksonville High School. Robin Thomas, a volleyball player with a 3.32 GPA. On the male side of things, their outstanding place kicker, Mason Terrell, football and soccer player, a 4.0 GPA. From Spring Garden High School, Kaylee Kirk, softball and basketball, an 88.03 GPA. And Matthias Williams, football player with an 83.3 GPA. From Faith Christian School, Joel Tillery, basketball player, 4.15 GPA. And Eli Mitchell, I got to take my time here. Eli Mitchell, tennis, soccer, cross country, indoor track, and basketball. Plays all those sports, a 4.55 GPA at the same time. From Piedmont, Jenna Calvert. She is a volleyball, softball, and indoor track star with a 4.29 GPA. Also, Jake Alston. He is a football, baseball, and indoor track athlete with a 4.615 GPA. Representing Weaver High School in the voting, you can vote for Denia Brown, volleyball and soccer player, a 3.87 GPA. And Anthony Ussery, a wrestling and baseball star with a 4.20 GPA. Representing Oxford High School, we have outstanding basketball player Justice Woods, a 4.45 GPA. Also from Oxford High School, Carlos Sanders with a 4.04 GPA. He is a football player for Coach Sam Adams. Alexandria, Lauren Weber, volleyball and softball player, a 3.93 GPA. And Deshaun Foster, a baseball and cross-country player with a 4.13 GPA. For White Plains, you can vote for Kristen Rhodes, a softball player with a 3.7 GPA, or Dalton Faulkner. He is a football and golf player from White Plains with a 3.5 GPA. Ohatchee, representing the Indians, Hannah Fitch, a volleyball and softball player with a 4.1 GPA, and Chris Ferguson, a football and track star with a 4.2 GPA. The Sacs Wildcats, they're two up for voting on the Spirit Scholarship from F&M Bank. Abigail Ramirez, a volleyball and soccer player with a 3.51 GPA, and Trent Hopkins, a football, baseball, and wrestling and cross-country athlete with a 4.08 GPA. From Jacksonville Christian Academy, Kara Grace, volleyball, basketball, and softball player with a perfect 4.0 GPA, and Braxton Brown, a football, baseball, and basketball athlete with a 3.9 GPA. Voting for Pleasant Valley, their two athletes include Macy Roper, cheer, cross country, basketball, and softball player with a 4.2 GPA, and Zeke Curvin, a football, wrestling, baseball, indoor, outdoor, track, and golf. We're going to put him and Eli Mitchell from Faith together. I don't know when these two sleep. And on top of that, they both have 4+ GPAs. Zeke has a 4.22 GPA. Walter Welborn High School. This voting just completed today at 12 noon for Welborn, Donahoe, and Anniston. For Walter Welborn, Delana Stevens, cheer, volleyball, and softball player with a 3.94 GPA. Grayson Johnson, their outstanding quarterback, a football and basketball player with a 3.6 GPA. Representing the Donahoe School, Sarah Wagoner, volleyball and soccer player, a 4.0 GPA, just won a state championship this week. And also Lucas Elliott. Lucas was the homecoming king tonight. We'll show you him being crowned the king tonight at Donahoe, a football and baseball player with a 3.9 GPA. Also, finally, for Anniston High School, we got Amari Fields. She's a cheerleader for the Bulldogs, a 3.87 GPA. And football player Kevin Cole with a 3.52 GPA. Beginning at midnight tonight through next Monday, November 7th, you go to High School Football Alabama's Facebook page. It's very easy to vote. You just vote on the student athlete, your favorite one. Click on the picture and your vote will be registered. And one of these, or actually two of these 30 athletes, will receive a $1,500 college scholarship. We'll have the announcement here on Veterans Day night, November the 11th, on After the Game. For the first time tonight, going to bring in Gerhard Mathangani and the coach, Michael Short. Whoo! Man. We just read a lot of information there. We've got a lot going on here on High School Football Alabama After the Game tonight. Guys, welcome in. It's been a busy 2 nights. Last night we had a lot of Thursday night football, as we usually do on the last week of the regular season. My crew was out at Bill Bryan Stadium in Weaver. I didn't have near the job the PA announcer had out there because they had senior night. And I think they had every senior in Calhoun County, it seemed like, being recognized at Weaver last night, which is a good thing. But they also had a great football game. 2 teams, county rivals, not going to the playoffs, but playing for some momentum heading into 2023. Pleasant Valley and Weaver last night. Gerhard, we were there, and you've got the highlights.
That's exactly right. Momentum and prize, these are things that you kind of play for when neither team is going to the playoffs there in Week 10. But you do want to end your season off on a great note. I think both teams took away a lot from last night's game. Let's go over to Bill Bryan Stadium over in Weaver last night. Pair of teams, like I said, playing for pride. 23rd meeting between these two, Pleasant Valley and the Bearcats. Weaver riding a 3-game winning streak over their county rivals. Highlights begin, guys, with the opening kickoff. And it is Weaver on the return. It is Connor Ritchie. Great blocking up ahead. Ritchie goes 40 yards. And how about this? The Bearcat offense setting up in really great field position. The ensuing drive, quarterback Caden Gooden rolls out and hits Christian Martello. And Morello goes to 27 yards and picks up a big first down. A couple plays later, it's the same pair getting together once again. Gooden rolls out, hits Martello right there goes in for the 8-yard touchdown. The 2-point conversion is no good, so Bearcats go up 6-0. After a PV3 and out, Weaver back on offense facing 4th and 6. Costly mistake here by Pleasant Valley. There you see it. Pass interference in the end zone. Penalty gives the Bearcats a big first down. Wildcats take advantage, or Weaver takes advantage, I should say. Gooden, again, going to his favorite target so far. And Martello gets into the end zone for the 15-yard touchdown. The Bearcats would go for 2 with who else? Martorello takes it in for the 2-point conversion. Weaver's lead now stretches to 14-0 still in the first quarter. Now some life for the Raiders. A handoff to Dason Vick. An 8-yard carry, just shy of a first down. They would measure it. It would be just shy, but 2 plays later, they go right back, and some trouble here for the Raiders. Ball goes on the ground, and Weaver recovers the fumble at the Pleasant Valley 47. The following drive, a nice run here by Johnny Martin, and Martin would pick up 16 yards here, but the drive would stall for the Weaver Bearcats. A little bit later, it's Pleasant Valley. It finished strong at the end. Here's Braxton Salster. He picks up 16 yards off the goal line, and the 8th grader would lead the rally, a ferocious one, guys. We left it 14-0 Weaver, but it's Pleasant Valley that comes back. Great day for Braxton Salster. And you see the final score, 28-22. So Pleasant Valley snaps their losing skid against Weaver and ends the season with a 4-6 record.
And, you know, the thing about this was when we were there, I mean, Pleasant Valley was showing nothing. Weaver was in control of that game, had the momentum, had a big crowd into the game. But, Coach, give all the credit to Jonathan Nix and Pleasant Valley. We made the comment on the sideline, Pleasant Valley's not going to quit under a Jonathan Nix coach team. They kept rallying, came back in the second half, got a big win. Pleasant Valley didn't make the playoffs this year. The Locust Fork game wound up being the difference between getting in and getting out. But we saw improvement, I think, Coach, from both of these teams this year. Records may not be that great, but I think Pleasant Valley was better this year. I think Weaver was better this year. So a lot of positives coming out of this game last night, I think, for both teams.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that you can tell about both teams is the youth that they have on both sides. Both teams are very young, feeling their way around, and both teams wanted a win to move them in the momentum for the offseason. Even though Weaver didn't get the win, they played it awful hard. They didn't give up. And Pleasant Valley didn't give up. As you said, they were down 14-0, and probably the biggest play or drive in the game was when there was a turnover, and Pleasant Valley kept Weaver from scoring. It would have been 21-0. Yep. But just some of the stats, the one thing that sticks out to me from the stats from last night, and I got plenty, is for the Pleasant Valley, their defensive side of the ball. They had to. And some of these names I'm going to mention, you've already brought up on the scholarships.
Yes.
So you'll see them. Samuel Duncan, 13 tackles. Bryce Freeman had 4 tackles, 2 pass deflections, and 2 interceptions. That's himself, had 2 interceptions. Zeke Curvin, 7 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss. He also forced a fumble. Luke Kramer had 8 tackles. Then over here on the offensive leader side, we heard Gerhardt talk about Braxton Salster. He had 14 carries for 92 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he also had a big 2-point play that they had to have there late in the game. Hope Bentley had 6 carries for 42 yards. Dason Vick had 6 carries for 26 yards and 1 touchdown. And then quarterback Zeke Curvin, man, he plays everywhere. He plays offense, defense. Zeke Curvin
plays every sport apparently, from what we saw in the Spirit Scholarship. Yeah.
And is very smart too, and very intelligent. Zeke Curvin was 2 for 2 on his passes for 2 touchdowns. That's 100%, and both to Jaden Sparks. So Jaden Sparks was 107 all-purpose yards, 86 by the air, 21 on the ground. And just looking at the keys of defense tonight, they forced a fumble, 2 interceptions, and when you get those kind of production out of your defense, you got a chance to win. And then for Weaver tonight, the 3 key turnovers were probably the key to losing. But the Gooden kid tonight was 9 for 18 for 106 yards and 2 touchdowns. And P. Martin had 6 rushes for 30 yards and 1 touchdown. Hey, you have to take your hats off to both teams. Both coaches, staffs, I think, have got those teams going in the right direction heading into next year in this offseason.
Yeah, I'll tell you a stat that doesn't make sense. 2 for 2 passing. And they erased a 14-point lead. You would think you would sling the ball all over the field. No, that's not the case. But they got the turnover, so credit to the defense that you just highlighted.
Oh, yeah, you're exactly right.
All right, a great win last night. Come from behind win for Pleasant Valley on the road at Weaver, 28-22. We're going to look at Class 2A Region 4 now as we begin. This will be our last night that we do Region Rundown because we start the state playoffs next week. So we've got we don't have that. We thought we had the region rundown, but we don't have the region rundown. We're going to tell you about the Calhoun County Commission coming back. The Calhoun County Commission is Fred Wilson, Danny Shears, Carolyn Henderson, J.D. Hess, Lee Patterson. They do outstanding work in Calhoun County. They bring you high school football, Alabama, after the game. They also work in our schools. They work so much in our communities, doing such great projects. They support the Calhoun County Sports Hall of Fame. They're doing things like the horse trails out at McClellan, the Woodland Park softball facility and the youth sports complex. So many great projects that the Calhoun County Commission has brought to us to improve our quality of life here in Calhoun County. The Calhoun County Commission, Districts 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, outstanding men and women, public servants here in Calhoun County. We'll be back with more of high school football Alabama after the game as we roll on a football Friday night.
Hi, this is Jimmy Newman from Oxford Lumber. I've kicked off many times in my football days, and that's an exciting play. When you're ready to kick off your next building or remodeling project, let us make sure you start your project off right, with the right material at the right price so you can score big and get the job done. Stop by and see our local guys with over 60 years of experience serving you. Come by any one of our 4 locations in Oxford, Talladega, Jacksonville, Roanoke, and don't forget about our low price guarantee.
Your neighborhood Grub Mart is your one-stop shop for everything you need when you're on the go. Grub Mart features the best prices on Coke and Pepsi products and is the home to the 99-cent bag of ice every day. And Grub Mart is your exclusive home for the popcorn bucket. Purchase yours for only $5.99, then bring it for free refills throughout the year. And save every day with your Grub Mart Super Saver card. When you're on the go, it's good to know Grub Mart has everything you need. Gas, diesel, and delicious Oleo donuts. In business over 78 years, visit your local Grub Mart today.
Cash back. Plain and simple. That's what you'll get on the Noble Bank Cash Back account. No tricks, no gimmicky names, just free accounts that pay you cash back. If unlimited transactions, fraud protection, and refunds on ATM withdrawal fees nationwide sounds like your kind of banking, visit us at noblebank.com and learn more about the Noble Cash Back account. Welcome to personal banking. Welcome to Noble Bank and Trust. Noblebank.com, member FDIC.
There's a lot to think about when you're having a baby. Colors of the nursery, names, and most importantly, where to deliver.
We want a hospital that gives families a more personalized birthing experience.
With a compassionate team of doctors and nurses, and a hospital where my baby and I can instantly bond with all the comforts of home.
So where do we find all that?
Right here at RMC, the first designated baby-friendly hospital in Alabama.
Aniston Orthopedics continues to provide a legacy of outstanding sports injury care on and off the field, keeping our players in the game. Aniston Orthopedics offers our Saturday morning sports injury clinic from 8 to 10 a.m. throughout the high school football season. Aniston Orthopedics also offers full-service physical therapy and occupational therapy departments. To learn more, visit our website at www.anistonortho.com. Aniston Orthopedics, located in the Tyler Center adjacent to RMC.
We are back on after the game. Time to go back and get you all the final scores on our Oxford Lumber and Ace Hardware scoreboard. Number 3 Piedmont tonight playing at Legion Stadium in Sylacauga. The Bulldogs headed to the 3A playoffs. They go 8-2 in this first meeting ever between Sylacauga and Piedmont. Sylacauga finishes 0-10. Piedmont wins the game 41-20 tonight at Legion Stadium in Sylacauga. Highlights of this game coming. We do have that correct final score. Westbrook Christian, they've never lost to White Plains. They didn't tonight. Westbrook beats White Plains 47-27. We will have highlights of that game coming from Jack Osborne Memorial Stadium over in Rainbow City. Also tonight, we are expected to have the head coach of the Cedar Bluff Tigers, Coach Alan Beckett, and maybe his entire football team coming down from Lynchfield at Donahoe tonight. Cedar Bluff needed to win tonight. They were in a 3-way tie for 4th in Class 1A Region 6 with Galesville and Decatur Heritage. If they'd lost tonight, Decatur Heritage would have been in. But Cedar Bluff tonight wins impressively at Donahoe, spoiling homecoming for the Falcons 34-0. We will have highlights of that game, including the homecoming king and queen at Donahoe. We'll show you all of that coming up a little bit later on after the game. Cedar Bluff head coach Alan Beckett coming later on as well. Cedar Bluff wins it 34-0. Sitting right next to me right now, You'll see him in just a moment. The head coach of the Oxford Yellow Jackets, Sam Adams, his team victorious tonight, beating Jacksonville 34-28, knocking off the number 7 team in Class 4A tonight at Lamar Field. We'll have highlights of that game. Oxford and Jacksonville playing each other for the first time in 21 years. Jacksonville had not beaten Oxford since 1984. I was in high school then. And it didn't happen tonight. Oxford wins it 34-28 over Jacksonville. Coach Adams coming up in just a couple of moments. Wellborn tonight over at the pit in Heflin. We'll have highlights of this game as well. Jumping up on Cleburne County 21-0 early on. Kind of a dogfight after that. First meeting in 17 years between the Panthers and Tigers. Wellborn wins it 27-9 at the pit in Heflin tonight. We do have a final score now on Sax and Talladega. Congratulations to Jonathan Miller, win number 100 in his career. All 100 of those wins have been at Sax. We'll tell you more about that in our extra point coming up tonight. But Sax wins at Talladega 62-24 tonight. Sax getting ready for the Class 3A state playoffs next week. We showed you earlier the highlights of last night's Pleasant Valley come from behind win over Weber 28-22. JCA and Tabernacle playing tonight. This game being played at Tommy Miller Field in Jacksonville. And Jacksonville Christian, for the second time this year, they beat Tabernacle. The Torches, 46-32 was the final score. We will have highlights of this game. The reason they were playing again tonight, this was the semifinals of the Christian Football Association 8-man playoffs tonight. So that means JCA will advance to the championship game next Friday night in Tuscaloosa at Tuscaloosa Christian, probably playing Russell Christian out of Meridian, Mississippi. Jacksonville Christian wins tonight 46-32 over Tabernacle. We will have highlights of that game coming. Bit of an upset tonight in Wedowee. Ranburn goes in and hands Randolph County only their second loss of the year. Randolph County without their starting quarterback, Avion Willis. Ranburn wins the game, though, 27-18 in Wedowee. Wadley rolling into the Class 1A playoffs. They beat Randolph County rival Woodland tonight, 49-0. Central of Clay County and Wetumpka. Great game tonight at Volunteer Stadium. Central of Clay County outscoring Wetumpka, good 6A team. They beat the Indians tonight 35-30. That corrected final score. Want to make sure that John Limbaugh gets the credit. Fayetteville tonight wins in Tuscaloosa against the Titans of Holy Spirit Catholic 41-14. Childersburg and Winterboro tonight playing down at Childersburg at John Cox Stadium. And hey, Winterboro wins the game. They beat Childersburg tonight. The 1A beating the 3A 38-21. Talladega County Central and Galesville tonight. This is a new final coming in. The Trojans win, keeping TCC winless. They'll end the season to 0-10. Galesville wins it tonight down at Howell Cove, 54-14. Last night, Munford beat Asheville 24-9. We will have highlights of that game coming from last night down at Munford. Asheville led that game 9-7 was the score at halftime. And also, we will tell you that as we move on looking at final scores, Lincoln and Beauregard. Beauregard comes in. Lincoln had never beaten the Hornets, and Beauregard wins over Lincoln 28-17 tonight over at Keith Howard Memorial Stadium in Lincoln tonight. Last night, Pell City, Steve Mask gets his first win at Pell City, and he does it in a big way. This is not the basketball game last night. I don't think Pell City played. Pell City beating Springville last night 70-40 over at Pete Rich Alumni Stadium. Coosa Christian, one of the hottest teams in 1A. We don't have a final, but they were ahead late in the game in Pell City tonight against Victory Christian, 40-7 late. Looks like Coosa's going to roll to their 6th win. Dora and St. Clair County tonight. Dora wins the game over the Saints 34-14. That was the final at Dora. Fort Payne tonight. The 6A beats the 4A, number 8 Cherokee County, losing to Fort Payne tonight 35-16, the final up at Fort Payne. The Gaston Bulldogs win at Brindley Mountain 50-6 tonight. Sardis, big Etowah County rival game. They get past Hoax Bluff 16-14. Another all Etowah County matchup at Walnut Grove tonight. West End beats Glencoe 25-17. Etowah and South Side tonight at Barney Hood Stadium. We'll have highlights of this game coming from over at South Side. Etowah rolls big tonight over South Side 42-26. Both those teams in the state playoffs. South Side in 5A, Etowah in 4A. Number 1 in 3A, Mars Hill Bible. The Piedmont Bulldogs are looking at them. Number 1 Mars Hill Bible wins over Linden tonight, the number 2 team in 1A in Florence, 35-6. And the big game in 7A tonight, was down in Phoenix City at Garrett Harrison Stadium. Number 2 Central Phoenix City beating Prattville 27-7 tonight. That was the final score. As we promised you, the head coach of the Oxford Yellow Jackets, Coach Sam Adams, is with us tonight. Oxford victorious on senior night tonight. The lights were flashing a lot. Champions was played by the band. Oxford wins the game 34-28 over Jacksonville. Coach, welcome in. Glad to have you with us once again on After the Game.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Great. First, let's talk about a little bit of the history of this game tonight. Always good to see Calhoun County teams. Thank you and Coach Smith for putting this game together and bringing 2 old rivals back together.
Yeah, it was great, I think, for both communities. We had a great crowd out there tonight, and Oxford doesn't have a lot of 6A rivalries that happen to be very close by. Pell City, I guess, their closest one. It's 30 minutes down the road. Outside of that, I mean, if we play a road game, we're going at least an hour. So it was good to kind of get a Calhoun County rivalry reignited. And I've heard a lot of history about the series, and somebody asked me about it yesterday. I mean, none of our kids were alive. None of our players were alive the last time we played. So I don't think they were really all that interested in the series numbers and all that kind of stuff. But it was good for our guys to compete against kids that they know.
That leads into my next question. Were your guys excited because, I mean, they know these guys. They see, they may be related to them. They know them. They hear about them. They see them down at the exchange, out to eat and things like that. Were your guys excited about playing this game?
I thought they were. They definitely were. I think one of the cool things that I just happened to notice during the game is, you have players talk during the game, right? We don't always hear everything they say, but I did hear some first names being used.
Yes.
Back and forth from offense to defense on both sides of the ball, them to us to them. And I thought that was kind of a unique thing. You don't get to hear that very often.
We bring in Gerhard Mathangani and the coach Michael Short. Guys, a great atmosphere down there, as Coach was talking about tonight. Just a really good atmosphere. You could just tell a difference because you had 2 county teams playing each other. Your thoughts on the games tonight? We'll get in and kind of talk about the actual game tonight.
Yeah, it's bragging right, especially on one of the things that Coach talked about was maybe the kids in the locker room don't really care about the series history and all that. They care about this game from a different perspective because they see each other at the park or at church or in youth group sessions and just wherever all the young people meet these days. But then you had some of the older people who I think appreciated this in a different way. So maybe the guys on the field and in the stands and the band and whatnot didn't necessarily care about the series history, but those in the stands did. So it's an appreciation from 2 different levels.
Sure, yeah, and it was senior night for us too.
Correct.
So I think that kind of amped up the emotion for our guys. And we'll play next week in the playoffs, but we're on the road and we're not guaranteed another home game. Maybe we get another one, maybe we don't. But I thought it really was just it was an exciting atmosphere from warm-ups all through the end of the game.
Mm-hmm. I got excited watching the game, and I had to finally look down at my watch and said, wait a minute, I got to go. I got to leave. But I just to the lead up to the game, knowing a lot of coaches and a lot of people, the question mark were people saying, well, Oxford's 6A and Jacksonville's 4A, they just won't get any competition. I said, wait a minute, 2 of your better quarterbacks in the state are going to be playing tonight. And Jacksonville has plenty of skilled players out there. And so I actually think, especially on the your defensive side, it's always as good as offense as you'll see in 6A.
Yeah, they have a really well-balanced offense. They have good receivers, good running back, really good quarterback, and 5 senior offensive linemen. That's pretty hard to find anywhere in the state, regardless of level. And people talk about, they're 4A, we're 6A and all that. I mean, they're going to put 11 guys out there. We're going to put 11 guys out there.
And those linemen have played together for 4 years.
That's right. And, they're a good team. Good football is good football. It doesn't matter if you're 1A or 7A.
And I think it's great for you going into the playoffs at that kind of game and that kind of atmosphere.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It really was. I got a lot of respect for Coach Smith and the way that they run their program over there. And I thought their players handled themselves with class. They made a lot of good plays in the game. And we were fortunate enough to make maybe 1 or 2 more.
Gerhard, we got some highlights of the game from down Lamar Field. We'll see those lights flashing, especially early on. As when we were there, Oxford kind of jumped on the Golden Eagles.
Yeah, it's a great start for Coach and his crew. Charlie, John, Don, that crew was over at Lamar Field today. Let's go over to those highlights. Jacksonville and Oxford over in the city of Oxford. As Coach mentioned, it was senior night. You see the banner representing those seniors there. And you see the lights flashing as the Oxford Yellow Jackets come onto the field. The offense flashing as well. Mason Mims to Nick Richardson. Give him 31 yards on the pitch and catch. A great play there for the Jackets early on. A little bit later on, it's D.K. Wilson right up the gut. Great blocking. Goes to the house. 35 yards. Into the end zone, PAT's good. Oxford takes an early 7-0 lead. A little bit later on, some trouble here for the Jacksonville offense. Jim Ogle fumbles the snap. Johnny on the spot. Michael Battle gets the ball back to the Oxford offense. A little bit later on, they take advantage. Mims over to James Tapley. Tapley, give him 30 yards. And watch my man Charlie hang in there. He got the shot. 30-yard play into Eagle territory. A little bit later on in the drive, it is Mims going up top. Look at this catch by Amari Carroll. One-on-one. Great catch there. The lights flash, deservedly so. PAT's good, an early 14-0 lead for the Oxford Yellow Jackets. But Jacksonville does find some offense a little bit later on. Jim Ogle to Kedrick Fisher, and Fisher, 35 yards. He's a speedster. Gets him into Oxford territory. Very next play is G. Turner. Give him 15 yards right here and a big first down for the Eagles. A little bit later on, Ogle right up the middle. It's a beautiful pass there by Ogle. Hits Fisher into the end zone, 19-yard touchdown, 14-7 at that point. And as we talked about earlier, Oxford ended up getting the win. But Coach, you saw a really strong quarterback there in that game in Jim Ogle. And before we ask about him, I know, Coach, you've got some stats on Ogle for tonight. And then we'll talk about the way the defense was able to handle him.
Yeah, I got a few from him. And then I want to ask Coach just a question. Jim tonight was 16 of 24 for 209 yards, 2 touchdowns. You saw in the film there, G. Turner had 23 rushes for 99 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Kedrick had 10 receptions for 183 yards and 2 touchdowns. But to me, when I arrived at halftime, Coach, the first play, when y'all run DK again, I said, there's the Wilson boy again. The little inside trap play there. Man, what a play to start out the second half with.
Yeah, DK really had a huge night.
Yes.
The preliminary stats I had him with about 187 rushing, 3 touchdowns. Also had 5 catches to go with it. So, I mean, he's probably pushing 250 total yards tonight. And, as a sophomore, he got some action last year as a freshman.
That's right.
Was honorable mention all region as a freshman. And, this year as a sophomore, he's kind of working between the receiver slot and the running back slot. And he's really productive in both.
Well, you have still a young football team. When I was working with y'all last year, there's a lot of freshman play.
Sure.
It's not excuses because them seniors, you want to win right now. But you still, the core of your team is a young football team and got a lot of growth to go.
Yeah, and that's something that, we don't make any excuse. We don't get any bonus points for playing the young guys or anything like that. Nobody feels sorry for us or anything like that, and we don't want that to be. And, this is not a rebuilding year for us. Some people have kind of thrown that out there and all that. We don't look at it that way at all. I've never used that phrase about a team and never will. We got some great seniors that are fighting their guts out right now. The truth, and we get a lot of production out of those guys as well. Amari Carroll, you mentioned Michael Battle, recovered a fumble. Those guys were 2 of our seniors that have been playing for us for a long time. And but the reality of it is we start 13 freshmen or sophomores.
Wow.
And there's the old adage that I've always heard all my life is generally you lose 1 game for every sophomore that has to start. So I think we'll beat that number. I don't think we'll end up with 13 losses. But and those guys we played really well at points in the season and not so well in others. We've kind of been an up and down kind of team, and that's a lot of times that's the mark of a young team. They're very emotional. Sometimes that can be really good. Sometimes it can kind of go the other way. The touchdown you were talking about, first play, the second half, that put us up 31-14.
That's right.
And credit to Jacksonville for continuing to fight and all those things and then get back in the game. And all. So we were having to kind of hold on at the end of it. But, hopefully we can keep that emotion that our guys play with channeled in the right direction and become a more mature football team next week.
Well, the confidence that you gain from the win tonight, no matter who it is.
Oh, yeah.
It's a win.
Yeah,
you go out there and work every day, and those seniors have worked extremely hard for 4 years, 3 years, however long they played, and they deserve everybody to be behind them. This is their year. This is their time. And what a win that comes in Game 10 right before the playoffs is a great win because that gives you all the confidence in the world because once you get in the playoffs, you're all 0-0.
That's right. That's what I told the message to our team was after the game. We didn't really talk about the Jacksonville game very much. We're looking forward to the next one. And all we're concerned with right now is winning 1 game.
That's right.
It doesn't. It matters not how many region wins we had, what our record was. Same thing for Gardendale. Everybody's fighting for 1 game right now. If we can play well enough in that game, hopefully we earn another one.
That ball bounces funny when the playoffs start.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Coach, you mentioned Gardendale. I know you've given some attention this week to Jacksonville, but Obviously, the important thing is the Gardendale game. That's the playoff game. That's the road to the state championship. Your thoughts on Gardendale going and playing the Rockets? Last night they played a Thursday night game, lost to a very good Hueytown team who was a state runner-up last year. Just your overall impressions. What can Oxford fans expect when you go to Driver Stadium in Gardendale next Friday?
Well, they're going to be well coached. I know that. Chad Eads, we were on the same staff at Hoover together for 2 years in 12 and 13, and we coached together in the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star game this past offseason. So, he's a guy I know really well, and I know how he's going to prepare his team. And they have a very dynamic quarterback, and that's kind of what their whole offense runs through him. Obviously, passing-wise, but their running game is quarterback-centered as well. They have some big, high-profile guys on the defensive side too. They have a defensive end, and excuse me for not knowing the names yet. I'll have that down in another few hours probably. But they have defensive end that's committed to Florida. I believe there's a DB that's committed to Arkansas. And they took it on the chin last night to a really good Hueytown team that's red hot right now. So hopefully there's some things in that film that we can kind of learn from moving forward. We're a much different team than Hueytown. Hueytown's, again, kind of a running quarterback type system. We have a really good quarterback, one of the best ones in the state, but he's not that style of player. So we'll have to find some other ways to attack them and not just use the same blueprint that Hueytown did.
Coach, two more things before we let you get out of here. One thing, and both of these are going kind of off the field things, but the folks that come and they ride by on Highway 78 or down 21, they are seeing very dramatically what is changing the landscape on the campus of Oxford High School. That is football facilities that are going to, as I understand it, be unrivaled by anyone in the state that's going up there. They're looking over there, they're excited. People are wondering what is going on over there. What is Oxford building? Tell folks what is going to be there in about a year or so.
So word choice is important right here. This is an all-sports facility.
All sports, okay.
All-sports facility that will benefit every sport that plays anything at Oxford High School.
Yes.
Obviously, that includes football. Kind of the centerpiece of it, the biggest part of it, will be a 40-yard turfed practice area, full width of a football field. Off to the side of that kind of wraps around behind the visitor bleachers, there will be a wrestling room over there, a couple of locker rooms, offices, storage over there as well. We will have a new weight room that will actually open up into the indoor. We have four big roll-up, like garage door kind of things, where we'll be able to transition straight out of the weight room into the indoor practice area. Obviously, new locker rooms for the players, meeting rooms, coaches' offices. The main little hallway right there is going to be really a place to pay respect to all the great teams, players, coaches that have come through Oxford High School. And I think we have as many former Oxford guys that are playing in the NFL or have played in the NFL as most teams in the state, if not more than the vast majority of them. So, everything was very intentional, very well thought out, and it's going to be a facility that we can offer to our student athletes that is unmatched by anybody in the state.
Wow. It's going to be awesome to see. And all this will be ready by the school year next year, hopefully. Most of it will be in place.
We'll go with you. We'll say yeah. So April, May for the building. There's possibly a hold up with some electrical stuff. We're hoping to be in it by late June, early July.
Awesome. Now, the last thing is, I want to draw the attention to the shoes here. One of the things that I have noticed about Coach Adams since he's been here is, man, you got to be a shoe connoisseur because he brings out some of the most awesome shoes I have ever seen. I didn't know what he was going to be wearing. I was watching pregame as you guys were warming up, and I was like, man, he's done it again. Man, Coach, just tell us about shoes and tell us about these you got on tonight.
So these are the gold toe Jordan lows. I think the gold is pretty close to matching up with the Oxford gold. It's not exactly right, but it gets it pretty close. And and I think I like to look as good as I can. I think this is just kind of part of it. Kids like it as well. I think they kind of get a little. We want our kids to play with confidence and swagger and all those kinds of things. And I think it kind of maybe rubs off on them. It's just kind of part of the whole overall package.
I have an adjacent question to that. Do you see that part of football probably changing more over the course of your career.
Oh, man, yeah.
Like just the fact that, or maybe even players 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, they still cared about it. He still
Sure.
wanted to look good, but I feel like it's grown exponentially over the last
Absolutely.
maybe 10.
Yeah, and all the players try to find some little way to be unique.
Yeah,
you know.
right.
And there are boundaries to that. Now
Right.
we kind of let them be kids and
Yeah.
have fun with it, but there's definite boundaries to that. They can't just go out and go crazy with it. But you see the common things rub off from what they see on Sundays and Saturdays.
Right,
They all
right.
want to wear, until they get sent out of a game for it, they all want to have those knees uncovered. They want to have the back flaps out.
Right.
But they'll customize, wear different wristbands and all that. We try to at least give them some guidelines to keep the colors
Right. Somewhat
within
uniform,
our
yeah.
scheme. Yeah. And so if we're playing on the road, their stuff's got to be black. Got to be white.
Right.
If we're at home, we want it to be black. And if it's not, then we send them back in, and they have to figure it out. But yeah, I mean, I think that's part of just giving your kids a good experience.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as it's within reason. I mean, let them be kids and have fun with the game. It's a game.
No coach in the state of Alabama is going to surpass Sam Adams when it comes to shoes. I am confident of that.
I honestly thought that, I know you got your own color of helmets now. That's Oxford's color. Nobody else in the country has
Correct.
it. I thought it was fixed to tell me you had your own shoes.
No,
That'd be
that
the
would
Adams special right there.
That would be big time. That would be big time. Yep, maybe next year.
Coach, thank you for coming with us and
Thank
being
you.
with us here on the show. Congratulations on the win tonight over Jacksonville. Best wishes to your team. Safe travels next week as you go to Gardendale. Head coach of the Oxford High School Yellow Jackets, Coach Sam Adams. Winners tonight over Jacksonville, 34-28. Oxford Lumber and Ace Hardware. Let me tell you about those folks. 4 locations, not only in Oxford, but in Jacksonville and in Roanoke and in Talladega. They have the best selection of grills, the Big Green Eggs, the Traeger grills. They've got them all. And the thing about it is you can go to Oxford Lumber tomorrow, pick out your grill. They'll put it together and they'll deliver it and put it right on your deck tomorrow, just in time to watch Auburn, Arkansas, or whatever game you want to watch on television tomorrow, maybe Florida, Georgia, whatever it is. Oxford Lumber and Ace Hardware bringing you our Oxford Lumber and Ace Hardware scoreboard. I'm telling you folks, here at our media center, our RMC Media Center, we have the entire Cedar Bluff football team. We have the Jacksonville cheerleaders. It's going to get crazy. You better stay with us for the next 20 or 30 minutes or so, because we have got all kinds of craziness going to happen right here on After the Game.
Are you ready for some football? Come in all month long and take a test drive at Team 1 Chevrolet and have a chance to win an Alabama, Auburn tailgate, or the ultimate tailgate package. Log on to ChevroletofGadsden.com for complete details. Chevrolet of Gadsden, where everyone's a winner. Someone's going to win an Alabama tailgate, someone's going to win an Auburn tailgate, and somebody's going to win the ultimate grand prize, including grill, generator, and big screen TV. Chevrolet of Gadsden, home of the best people, the best service, period.
At Farmers and Merchants Bank, we're showing off our school spirit with our newly designed vertical Spirit debit cards. Now these are customized with your favorite school's logo, and half of every Spirit card purchased goes toward your school. So show off your colors and support your local school with the F&M Spirit debit card. You can learn more at fnm.bank. Member FDIC.
When you shop at Pee Wee Turner Motors, you will be a winner. As lifelong supporters of East Alabama athletics, we at Pee Wee Turner Motors would like to invite you to check out our quality inventory of trucks, cars, and SUVs at PeeWeeTurnerMotors.net. We always guarantee credit approval and look forward to serving you and your family at Pee Wee Turner Motors on Quintard Avenue, Anniston. The Calhoun County Commission, made up of J.D. Hess, Danny Shears, Fred Wilson, Carolyn Henderson, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. Beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums. Our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly support the arts. If you are considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You will be glad you did.
Your home is a reflection of you, whether that's classic, farm style, or something unique. We at Ted's Carpet and Floor understand that, and we'll help you through the selection, finance, and installation process. We have an extensive selection of designer tiles, carpet, laminate, and hardwood. Let us help you choose the perfect granite or quartz to customize your kitchen or bathroom. We offer free in-home measurements, estimates, and design consultations. Ted's Carpet and Floor, your style, our passion.
All right, you can see we're wild and crazy today. This is going to be the craziest after the game we have ever had in the history of this program tonight. Back on this Football Friday night, presented by the Calhoun County Commission. Cedar Bluff football now. I'm not going to use the word old, Coach, but we are old friends for a long time. Coach Alan Beckett,
yes, sir.
head coach of the Cedar Bluff Tigers. We've got right here next to me, we'll show you in just a moment, we're going to show you a bunch of Cedar Bluff players. We're going to roll Cedar Bluff players out. We're going to bring a bunch more in. We've got the entire team with us tonight. And, Coach, you're a happy bunch because you won tonight on the road. You spoiled Donahoe's homecoming. Correct me if I'm wrong, though. This was a must-win for you tonight to get in the state playoffs, right?
How about them Tigers? Yes, sir. We it was do or die, and we did. That was good. We were so proud of them. They came and battled, and man, we went through murder's row. I'm talking about we played top 10 team, top 10 team, top 10. You know what I'm talking about. And we and adversity right there, and they didn't quit. Kept playing at the end.
You were in a three-way tie tonight for the final playoff spot in Class 1A Region 7. You were in a tie with Galesville and Decatur Heritage. Decatur Heritage beating you. You'd beaten Galesville. Galesville last week beat Decatur Heritage. So the head-to-head didn't matter. So we get down to those non-region games and points and all that. The bottom line is you had to win tonight, right?
That's right. That's right. And I called Ron Ingram, and he's talking about tiebreaker in, and we working towards Z, and I'm going, we getting way too deep in the alphabet. And he finally said, hey, you got to win to go. So, and we did it, and that was great. Yeah, it was a three-way tie, and it is tricky when it gets into, you know, your non-region wins and how many wins they have, their opponents have, and, you know, so. But main thing is we played our best game week 10, you know, and that's what you want. Last one, best one.
All right, we've got some of your players here. We're going to show one group, and then we're going to show another group. Just tell us all about these guys right here and the effort tonight up at Donahoe going in with their backs against the wall. It was homecoming, all the activities that were going on there. Tell us about some of these guys right here and what this football team did tonight for Cedar Bluff High School.
Yeah, they're over here flexing, but they should flex because they, you know, they have won the region last year, and we turned around and we had some bad breaks and some injuries, and that's part of it. But these guys, man, they have been through a lot of years right here, and I thought. We kind of were finding who we were as this season went along, but you see Dylan up front flexing. He got him a carry, our left tackle, Dylan Kennard, and he's big time excited about that. And you see Bucky Leak, who he got one play in tonight. Got one play. We won't talk about it. He's been injured, and that's been one of our studs through. And you can see Caden Pack, who's our quarterback, and played really well, probably the best game of the night. Eli McFry, he made some friends a while ago with the cheerleaders the other side, but he's been our leading receivers the year went on. And then we got, hey, you always want to make friends. You can't have enough friends. Hunter Jenkins in the back, I probably had 200 yards rushing, and Dirty, I think is what they call him. And Aiden Green had a touchdown, and you can go on down. Carter Dillingham, they backed him up on a kick, and he still made it through there. So he had a really big night. And we got a guy over here in Malachi Jelks. His patella, it don't even really exist. And the doctor said, you're going to have surgery either way. Go ahead and play if you want to. You got Bradley Crane that came. They snapped. His leg was the nastiest. It looked like, y'all remember Joe Theismann? Yes. People, we remember this, where it was out. Well, that's what he had in the spring. Came back and was able to play with us, and we got Carson Webb right here that's ran around. Hey, man, and look, there's Hagen Stallings, y'all. Hagen Stallings, when linemen score touchdowns, guys, that's good stuff. That's a good night.
Oh, yeah. Big man ball.
There he is, right there front and center.
And he even made a move. He cut and he changed direction. That was nice, man. It was really nice. He had a big night all the way around. So we're proud of him.
We're going to come back here. Well, I think we're going to switch out and maybe bring some more Cedar Bluff players in here if we can. Gerhard, my crew was there tonight at Donahoe. We got there. It was 7-0 at halftime, Cedar Bluff. When we got there, Cedar Bluff really had a big third quarter. We got some of those third quarter highlights right here.
Exactly. We'll get to the great Tiger highlights in just a moment. But first, we'll show you some homecoming shots from Donahoe. Let's go over to Lentz Field. Over in downtown in the Anderson area, I'll tell you what, there is probably not a better set of wheels at a homecoming situation.
$500,000 in cars.
Easy. There's Ava Hollingsworth, a fantastic tennis player, and it's homecoming night. Homecoming courts all the way out as well. A great scene over at Donahoe tonight, but Cedar Bluff did lead this game 7-0 at the half. There you see your homecoming king. It is Lucas Elliott. Congratulations to him. Also great to see the previous homecoming king back as well. And there's your homecoming queen as well as Claire Hillman. So great homecoming festivities.
She'll kill you in tennis.
Exactly. Oh yeah, huge, great tennis player. But it's Cedar Bluff though that owns this third quarter. Great run here by Cade Browning. 25-yard pickup there. A little bit later on, it is Browning once again. Give him 22 yards into the end zone for the touchdown. The PAT is good and early. 14-0 lead for Cedar Bluff right out of the gate in the third quarter. A little bit later on, a big special teams play. Logan Hampton blocks the punt from Donahoe, recovered by Hunter Jenkins into the end zone for the touchdown. Coach, you talked about Carter Dillingham backed up with the PAT. No problem at all. 21-0 your score there. There's Coach Beckett looking on at his guys, spoiling homecoming for the Falcons. And how about a big defensive play as well? Caden Pack, pickoff right there. Ends that drive. 27-0 was the score as we left. But Cedar Bluff ends up getting the win there. There you see the final score, 34-0. Coach, offense, defense, special teams, all coming to making big plays.
It was a good night. It was our night, man. We've been waiting on this kind of night, and you have ups and downs and bumps and bruises, and getting them to the practices and motivating them, and boy, it's a long journey. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, yeah. It is a long marathon to get to this point, and but we were proud. You can go one direction or the other, and I thought we were trending up, and I thought we ended on a good note heading into the playoffs.
The thing that I'm so happy about right now is the smell. That's a smell. Guys, I coached for almost 40 years.
Smell.
It's a football smell.
It's a locker room smell.
And that's a locker room smell. It's the way it's supposed to smell when you go out there and you do what you're supposed to do and you work hard. Guys, consider yourself lucky to be coached by Coach Beckett.
100%.
Great guy, great character. That you're in. Because all you got to do, you just got to get in. And somehow get in. It don't matter your record now, it's 0-0.
Yeah. Well, it's like the dance in March, with the NCAA tournament. You'll see a 215 or a, now we've seen a 116, haven't we? We saw that. So you just want to get in the door, and I guess if you beat that top one, you kind of become their seed. So anyway, we're proud of them.
Well, Coach, you got some more players here. This is a whole nother set of guys here. Tell us about some of these outstanding Cedar Bluff Tigers.
Hey, I missed Cade Browning, so we're glad we got our senior back, number 11. If you saw him running wild, he turned around as they went out. He said, "Listen, I'm gonna get my name called out." KB has been our guy, leading tackler on the inside, linebacker, and he was our leading receiver last year. But we needed a running back, so we moved him down to running back. And he has had a huge year. Had a big night again tonight. He was running all over the place and never gets mad. Even Steven, right? Would you say even Steven? Never? No. Okay, maybe not. But plays with a lot of passion. So really proud. And there was Logan Hampton that, man, we wrestled with them Angels last year, and we turned around, blocked a punt, making tackles, and it just all that extra work. Alex Beatty, you ever seen when they take you take a family to take a picture and the family picture and they have to get the keys to get the kids' attention? Sometimes Alex, we're in right, Alex. And huge night again, though, man. He set the edge for us defensively and was all over the place and worked his way into offense. And man, we're so excited for him, and a lot of young guys, and you'll see a lot of young faces. Samson Mallett, their ninth grader, got to start tonight, and that was that's big. When you're playing this many young guys, on down the road it's going to be really good. When the Byron Kinseys and Hudson Smiths and all these guys and Jordan Taylor's jumping in there, and and we're seeing Johnny and we got a couple injured guys we're trying to get back, and Hunter Stallings and Dakota Langley. So we're excited about our future, and that's what's huge about the playoffs. Is these guys will get a taste of it, and they say, "Okay, I know why I'm working during the winter."
And it's an extra week of practice.
Another week of practice.
And I don't know. always at Heflin, but our younger guys got a lot more practice.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they just got those extra reps. So if you can just pull off a win next Friday night, then you get another week, and it's just like having spring practice.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's an early week of spring practice, so we're excited for them.
Coach, you go from the shores of Weiss Lake to the shores of Smith Lake to play Meek. Meek is one of those teams that at the beginning of the season, I don't think anybody really talked about Meek. They beat Maplesville week 1. They got everybody's attention in 1A football, and they've been rolling since. What do you know about the Meek Tigers next week?
I just know they're really good. What I've seen of them, they've got good size, wing T team, and they have had a big season. Obviously, I know they've got a lot to prove. They went out early last year, so they're wanting to avoid something like that.
One more thing before we get you out of here, because you got a long ride back up Highway 9 back to Weiss Lake.
I've got to turn around. Here's what you don't miss. I've got to leave at 6 a.m. to go to Montgomery.
That's what I was fixing. I was fixing to say that it's a long ride. Please be careful. But boy, I'd love to be able to go with you.
Yeah,
I'd love that ride.
Yeah, it is. It is exciting. You know, when you get down there and you see all those guys and everybody's excited and you feel it's like first day of Major League Baseball. You know what I'm saying? Boy, everything's in front of you and everybody's excited. It is a great thing to go down there.
And when you leave, you say, all right, guys, some of y'all ain't going to be here next week. I'll see you.
Half of the room is gone.
Yep.
Speaking of baseball, one of the things that we always ask a coach something kind of off the field, and I want to talk with you because folks that may not know, you're a great coach. You've had great success at Cedar Bluff and Winterboro and Collinsville. I've always termed you're a guy that comes in and builds programs, especially small school programs. That takes a special person to come in to do that. But your dad, Bobby Beckett, was legendary coach in the Cherokee County Sports Hall of Fame. Bobby Joe Johnson and Bobby Beckett were kind of hand in hand. You didn't see one without the other.
Right.
You're a coach's son.
Right.
Tell us about just growing up as a little kid. What are some memories that you maybe have of being that kid, that coach's son, when you're a little boy in Center, Alabama, you're a graduate of Cherokee County, and Bobby Beckett's your dad, and hanging around a Bobby Beckett and a Bobby Joe Johnson, and being a coach's son? What's that like?
It was like, I guess it's kind of, it was, I was sitting in on coaches' meetings at 8, 9, 10 years old, and I did get a little extra insight, and just hearing the, and I'm sitting here with my phone's going off. My mother's wanting feedback from the game. She's a big fan, by the way. But anyway, it was amazing, and listen, I heard their stories. I could give their speeches when they went somewhere because I'd heard all their stories. But they were great, and it was just great insight. And I got to see so many teams as a kid. I just felt like when I coached, I'd already coached for a lot of years, just being around them, and got to see how Coach Johnson was so good with people. My dad's energy was his deal, so it was great to see all that.
Well, your dad would I know he was proud before he passed away. I know he'd be proud right now, especially after a performance like your team put in tonight in that must-win situation at Donahoe. Thank you, Coach, for coming and being with us. Thank you for coming and bringing your whole team with us. It's cool. I love it when that happens because that's what it's all about. It's all about these young guys.
And what y'all are doing is great, and it's great for those guys, and really they were really excited, and it's great for the girls, and what you're doing for high school. Athletics all the way around. I appreciate you. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Alan Beckett is the head coach of the Cedar Bluff Tigers. Winners tonight over Donahoe, 34-0. Let's tell you about Pee Wee Turner Motors, South Quintard Avenue in Anniston. Call them at 237-4649. They have the best selection of used cars anywhere in East Alabama. Go by and see them. They have great financing, best selection of cars. They've been around since 1969. Your place for the best used cars. Pee Wee Turner Motors, South Quintard Avenue in Anniston. Also, peeweeturnermotors.net. Let's tell you about our Extra Point coming up. This is our Team 1 Chevrolet of Gadsden Extra Point. We mentioned this earlier. Sacs head coach Jonathan Miller recorded his 100th career coaching victory with tonight's road win at Talladega. Miller is in his 11th year as a head coach, all at Sacs. Coach Miller took over at Sacs in 2012, and his record now stands at 131. Coach Miller's Sacs teams have earned state playoff berths and registered winning seasons in 10 of his 11 seasons as the Wildcats boss. Now, coming up at the end of this segment, I hear the Cedar Bluff players, they're going crazy out here at Parker Memorial. At the end of this segment, and they're going to stick around for the next segment as well, we have a special treat for you, ladies and gentlemen. The Jacksonville Golden Eagle cheerleaders join us. They're not coming next one? Okay. We got them coming up. They will be coming up in just a second here as we'll bring you the Jacksonville Golden Eagle cheerleaders. And this will be not only the first time you see them, we're going to see them in a second time as well. So Jacksonville Golden Eagle cheerleaders coming up in just a moment.
At Farmers and Merchants Bank, we're showing off our school spirit with our newly designed vertical Spirit debit cards. Now these are customized with your favorite school's logo, and half of every Spirit card purchased goes toward your school. So show off your colors and support your local school with the F&M Spirit debit card. You can learn more at fnm.bank. Member FDIC.
Hi, this is Jimmy Newman from Oxford Lumber. I've kicked off many times in my football days, and that's an exciting play. When you're ready to kick off your next building or remodeling project, let us make sure you start your project off right, with the right material at the right price so you can score big and get the job done. Stop by and see our local guys with over 60 years of experience serving you. Come by any one of our 4 locations in Oxford, Talladega, Jacksonville, or Roanoke. And don't forget about our low price guarantee.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of J.D. Hess, Danny Shears, Fred Wilson, Carolyn Henderson, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. Beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums. Our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly support the arts. If you are considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You will be glad you did.
I can't imagine life without Gwen, but we came dangerously close.
I was having chest pains.
Luckily, there was a hospital nearby that quickly discovered one of her arteries was 100% blocked. A hospital with life-saving technology and the latest in cardiac treatment, with an experienced team of doctors and nurses focused on fixing Gwen's heart. What hospital had all of that?
It was all right here at RMC.
Your neighborhood Grub Mart is your one-stop shop for everything you need when you're on the go. Grub Mart features the best prices on Coke and Pepsi products and is the home to the 99-cent bag of ice every day. And Grub Mart is your exclusive home for the popcorn bucket. Purchase yours for only $5.99, then bring it for free refills throughout the year. And save every day with your Grub Mart Super Saver card. When you're on the go, it's good to know Grub Mart has everything you need. Gas, diesel, and delicious Oleo donuts. In business over 78 years, visit your local Grub Mart today.
Eagles blue and gold. Yell out your colors, Eagles blue and gold. Yell out your colors, Eagles blue and gold. Yell out your colors, Eagles blue and gold. Here we go.
Jacksonville Golden Eagle cheerleaders. We'll see more of them in just a moment. Yesterday afternoon, I was at Spring Garden along with the Ted's Carpet cheerleaders. We were out there yesterday, and we were presenting our Ted's Carpet and Floor Team of the Week to the Spring Garden High School Panthers. There's Kathy presenting our Tough Guy Trophy. We also had our T-shirts that we had in maroon, matched the Spring Garden colors perfectly as we had those Ted's Carpet T-shirts, and we also had our Team of the Week T-shirt. That's me and head coach of the Spring Garden Panthers, Jason Howard, with those Spring Garden shirts as we come back in, and we have Spring Garden. We're going to come back in with Gerhard Mathangani and the coach, Michael Short, right now.
Yeah, obviously it's a great night for football last night, and John, you and your crew were over at Munford High School. We'll talk about that in just a little bit, but I'll tell you what, the Class 4A in general, we've talked about like Aniston and Jacksonville and Munford, obviously having a really great year.
Yeah, we got there last night, and we've been to Weaver. We come there last night. And Asheville actually was ahead in this game 9-7. A lot of penalties in the first half against Munford, but Munford really turned it on in the third quarter because you know who, Sylvester Smith, It begins and ends offensively with the Munford Lions with Sylvester Smith. That third quarter, they kind of eliminated the penalties for the most part, got him untracked. And as we'll see in these highlights here from Munford, that third quarter was big for the Munford Lions as they came back to beat the Asheville Bulldogs.
That's 100% right. The last week of the regular season between these two teams, Munford and Asheville. Munford in this game actually down 9-7 when we get there. A bit of a surprise. Let's take it out to the highlights over in Munford. There you see the scoreboard, 9-7. Early part of the second half. In fact, this is the first snap of the second half. Sylvester Smith, it's good to have an SEC talent on your team, Coach. 62 yards to the house. As Scott Van Pelt will say, play the fight song after that. Touchdown puts Munford up, and it puts them up for good after that. 14-9 is your score after the touchdown run by Sylvester Smith. And a little bit later, Smith and the Lions fumble the football, and Asheville recovers it. But the drive would stall here for Asheville, so some signs of life for Coach Monroe and his bunch, but that drive would stall a little bit later on. A little bit after that ensuing drive, it is Sylvester Smith hits Take Edmondson. Edmondson wide open in the flats, goes 22 yards, picks up a big first down. A little bit later on in that drive, it's the Tennessee commit again, Sylvester Smith, this time going 18 yards to the house. A 62-yard touchdown followed by that touchdown run gives Munford a 21-9 lead. A little bit later on, Riley Brown, a fantastic player. They use him on the outside really well. An 18-yard pickup here. And Dakota Frank, it's a real weapon in the postseason, guys. You like to have a good kicker. He bangs a 35-yard field goal. 24-9 is the score. At that point, 24-9 is the final score. And, Coach, you have some stats not only on Frank, but also on this Munford Lion team who ended up having a big win yesterday in the playoff bound.
Yeah, I have a lot of stats, but I want to mention Dakota Franks. Dakota Franks yesterday got to the game to warm up. That's when he got there. He arrived and people were wondering, where's our kicker? Where's our kicker? Well, he was at the 4A boys sectional cross-country meet over in Oak Mountain.
Wow.
And he won it. So I said, how far did
And then came to Munford.
Yeah, put on his clothes and went out there and kicked the field goal of 34 yards. Coach Easley asked him, have you got it in you? He said, we'll find out. And he got through there and made a great kick. So props to him for going out and winning the section in the cross-country meet yesterday and then coming back and kicking for his team last night. So those were great. That was a great stat right there. Yeah. Munford last night, like I said, was scored 24 points. Their team rushed for 319 yards. They passed for 75 yards. That was a total of 394. Now let's give you some of these individual stats. Sylvester Smith, the Tennessee commit, 17 rushing attempts, 176 yards and 3 touchdowns. Oh, by the way, he had 175 yards called back in penalties. He was 5 of 6 for passing for 75 yards. So all purpose, he was 251 yards last night. Riley Brown had 6 rushing attempts for 101 yards, 3 receptions for 26 yards. Amari Edmondson, which you mentioned a while ago, had 8 rushes for 42 yards, 2 receptions for 49 yards, and he's been out for 4 weeks, and he's just now getting back to where he can play.
Yeah, he looked in game shape tonight.
He looked like it. Defensively, here was the big key to the game because Asheville kept the ball away from them in the first half, running the original Notre Dame box. I thought Mike Battles was out there on the field. It was the original Notre Dame box to the T. They did not give up but 2 first downs the second half.
Wow.
And that was really what told the tale of the game, and it gave them the ball. Defensive end Devin Elder had 11 tackles and 2 tackles for a loss. Linebacker Javion White had 10 tackles and 1 tackle for a loss. But here's the key. Sylvester Smith, the Tennessee commit, this is his stats after 10 games. This is what we gave. Coach Easley got that to me today. Thank you, Coach Easley, for that. Season stats after 10 games. He has 1,596 rushing yards. That's 11.1 yards per carry. That's a lot of yards. And that's playing Hanley. That's playing Jacksonville. That's playing Anniston.
Tough schedule.
Tough competition. He had 24 rushing touchdowns, 525 passing yards, 6 pass touchdowns. He threw for 6 pass TDs, 2,121 total offensive yards, and he was in charge of 30 total touchdowns for the year.
That's insane. And Josh Heupel will figure out his future at Tennessee, but for the most part, he'll play defense. So he has this kind of production offensively, but natural position, quote unquote, is on the other side of the ball.
Asheville finishes the season at 2-8. Their regular season is over with, but Munford moving on to the Class 4A playoffs. Now, they've got a tall task of going to Tuscaloosa next week to take on a very good and tradition-rich American Christian team. But, guys, I'm going to tell you, as long as Sylvester Smith is back there at that quarterback position, Munford's going to have a shot, even against a team like an American Christian. He's such a special player and can literally, we've seen it a couple of times this year, he can take over a game. It's going to be a pretty interesting game, I think, down in Tuscaloosa next week between Munford and American Christian.
It's one of those things like in basketball, when you just need a guy to get you a bucket. He's a guy that can get you a play. Down 7-9 yesterday, and as you mentioned, Asheville had their way with Munford. They took the fight to Munford. First snap, second half, takes it to the house. And he can do that in any game. And if you can do that in a playoff game, that's the difference between winning and losing. The only people ask, you don't really find SEC talent at these smaller schools. He's a perfect example of a guy that can produce at a quote-unquote smaller school, because a lot of times you see these SEC guys at 5A, 6A, 7A doing it at the quote-unquote smaller level, but still getting it done, Coach.
We got to look at Amari Edmondson, who's been out for 4 weeks and now he's back. He's an integral part of their offense. If he can get things going, that takes the stress off of Smith. But the thing about Smith is he's going to give him a chance, like you said, but they're not going to see no Notre Dame box next week.
No.
It's going to see, they'll see 40, it'll be 40 passes. They're going to spin it and they're going to throw it, and he'll be just as important over on the defensive side, because if they can get up there and get a couple of pick sixes, and we all know this time of the year, it's going to be November. Look at the weather.
Yeah.
If that weather gets rainy and muddy somehow, then all that passing game goes out the door, and Munford's got a chance.
Yep.
Assistant Coach of the Week time. This is our Assistant Coach of the Week presented by Johnson's Giant Food. This week, our Assistant Coach of the Week is Coach Ray Edwards, longtime assistant coach at Gadsden City High School. He is the assistant head coach and defensive coordinator for the Titans. He has 22 years of coaching experience, all of that in the City of Gadsden school system with Gadsden City and at Emma Sansom. He has also been the head wrestling coach at Gadsden City for 13 years. He's a graduate of Emma Sansom High School. I can remember when he played it. Emma Sansom, also graduated from Jacksonville State University. Coach Edwards will receive a $25 gift certificate from Johnson's Giant Food. 5 locations to serve you in East Alabama: Jacksonville, Coldwater, East Gadsden, downtown Gadsden, and in Etowah. Also, time now for our next Team 1 Chevrolet of Gadsden Extra Point. 11 schools in East Alabama had open dates for this week, this last week of the regular season of high school football. ASD, Spring Garden, Ragland, B.B. Comer, Sandrock, Ohatchee, Anniston, Hanley, Moody, Alexandria, Gadsden City. They all had the week off as the state football playoffs for a lot of those teams and basketball season for others are just around the corner. Before we get to the Jacksonville Golden Eagle cheerleaders, let me tell you about something that they've got coming up that you need to be a part of to help support them. They are going to a national competition, and they are having a pancake fundraiser next Saturday, November the 5th. I'm scared to ask Coach Short about this because I know where he's going to be. He'll be at St. Charles Catholic Church in Jacksonville. This will be at 308 7th Street Northeast, just off the JSU campus. Proceeds, as we said, go towards national competition. Here's what you get, Coach. You get hot coffee, you get fresh juice, you get maple syrup, you get 3 pancakes, and you get 2 sausage patties, all for $7 dine in or carry out. Coach, what are the odds you may be in Jacksonville from 7 to 11 next Saturday?
I don't know about 7 to 11, but I could probably do 7 to 8.
7 to 8, Coach Short probably will be there. If you are in the Jacksonville area, go support these fine young ladies. They've been patient with us tonight, coming back from the game tonight down at Oxford and waiting through all of our guests and so forth. We appreciate them so much. Support them as they raise money to go to the national competition next Saturday at St. Charles Catholic Church in Jacksonville. And without further ado, more of the Jacksonville Golden Eagle Cheer Squad.
Go Big Blue! 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 Here we go!
Your home is a reflection of you, whether that's classic, farm style, or something unique. We at Ted's Carpet and Floor understand that, and we'll help you through the selection, finance, and installation process. We have an extensive selection of designer tiles, carpet, laminate, and hardwood. Let us help you choose the perfect granite or quartz to customize your kitchen or bathroom. We offer free in-home measurements, estimates, and design consultations. Ted's Carpet and Floor, your style, our passion.
When you shop at Pee Wee Turner Motors, you will be a winner. As lifelong supporters of East Alabama athletics, we at Pee Wee Turner Motors would like to invite you to check out our quality inventory of trucks, cars, and SUVs at peeweeturnermotors.net. We always guarantee credit approval and look forward to serving you and your family at Pee Wee Turner Motors on Quintard Avenue, Anniston.
Cash back. Plain and simple. That's what you'll get on the Noble Bank Cash Back account. No tricks, no gimmicky names, just free accounts that pay you cash back. If unlimited transactions, fraud protection, and refunds on ATM withdrawal fees nationwide sounds like your kind of banking, visit us at noblebank.com and learn more about the Noble Cash Back account. Welcome to personal banking. Welcome to Noble Bank and Trust. Noblebank.com. Member FDIC.
Anniston Orthopedics continues to provide a legacy of outstanding sports injury care on and off the field, keeping our players in the game. Anniston Orthopedics offers our Saturday morning sports injury clinic from 8 to 10 a.m. throughout the high school football season. Anniston Orthopedics also offers full-service physical therapy and occupational therapy departments. To learn more, visit our website at www.annistonortho.com. Anniston Orthopedics, located in the Tyler Center adjacent to RMC.
Are you ready for some football? Come in all month long and take a test drive at Team 1 Chevrolet and have a chance to win an Alabama, Auburn tailgate, or the ultimate tailgate package. Log on to ChevroletofGadsden.com for complete details. Chevrolet of Gadsden, where everyone's a winner. Someone's going to win an Alabama tailgate, someone's going to win an Auburn tailgate, and somebody's going to win the ultimate grand prize, including grill, generator, and big screen TV. Chevrolet of Gadsden, home of the best people, the best service, period.
Team 1 Chevrolet of Gadsden, they are outstanding sponsors. Of course, they bring you our extra points every week here. They are having a tailgate giveaway, Alabama and Auburn giveaway, and then they've got the grand prize giveaway. They're giving away a generator. They've got a big screen television. They've got all kind of things they're giving away. Go take a test drive at Team 1 Chevrolet of Gadsden, located on East Meagan Boulevard in East Gadsden. Proud supporters of high school football, Alabama, after the game. Time now for our Farmers and Merchants Bank Player of the Week for this week, and that is Nate Jones of the Ohatchee Indians. He rushed for 165 yards and 3 touchdowns, scored the Indians' first touchdown on a 92-yard interception return in Ohatchee's 41-28 playoff clinching win over Plainview last Friday night on the Creek Bank. So he was responsible for a total of 4 touchdowns in that game. And Nate Jones will receive the coveted Player of the Week plaque from Farmers and Merchants Bank. Time to catch you up to date on all the final scores as we go back to our Oxford Lumber and our Ace Hardware scoreboard. Piedmont tonight, they close out the regular season winning at Sylacauga 41-20. Also, Westbrook Christian wins over White Plains 47-27. Cedar Bluff, you saw highlights of this game earlier, beating Donahoe 34-0. Oxford a winner over Jacksonville 34-28. Walter Welborn, highlights of this game coming. Also highlights of that Westbrook White Plains game coming. Welborn tonight wins at Cleburne County 27-9. Sachs gets 100 wins for Coach Jonathan Miller as they beat Talladega 62-24. Last night, Pleasant Valley a winner over Weaver 28-22. Tonight, JCA, they're headed for a championship game next Friday night in Tuscaloosa. Tonight, they beat Tabernacle 46-32. Highlights of that game from Tommy Miller Field still to come here on After the Game. Ranburne upends Randolph County 27-18. Wadley shutting down Woodland 49-0. Central of Clay County wins tonight over Wetumpka 35-30. Fayetteville wins in Tuscaloosa against Holy Spirit Catholic 41-14. Winterboro, big win tonight. Only the second win of the year for the Bulldogs. They win against next-door neighbor Childersburg 38-21 tonight at Childersburg. Galesville picks up win number 3 as they win at TCC tonight, 54-14. Last night, you just saw the highlights of Munford's 24-9 win over Asheville. Lincoln and Beauregard. Beauregard wins it 28-17 over Lincoln tonight down at Keith Howard Memorial Stadium in Lincoln. Last night, Pell City had a shootout with Springville. 110 points scored in this game. Pell City beat Springville 70-40. Coosa Christian and Victory Christian. Coosa continues to roll. They beat Victory tonight in Pell City 43-14. Dora, they win over St. Clair County 34-14. Fort Payne hands Cherokee County only their second loss of the year tonight at Fort Payne. The 6A beating the 4A 35-16. Gaston Bulldogs win big to close out the 22 campaign as they win at Brindley Mountain in Marshall County tonight 50-6. Sardis wins the Etowah County battle with Oaks Bluff 16-14. Another Etowah County battle at Walnut Grove tonight where West End beat Glencoe 25-17. And yet a third all Etowah County matchup. And we'll have highlights of this game tonight from Southside. Etowah beating Southside 42-26. 2 games in the state tonight involving top 10 teams playing each other. Number 1 in 3A Mars Hill Bible at home in Florence beating number 2 in 1A Linden. They hand Linden their first loss at 35-6. And a big game tonight. This was actually a region game in Class 7A Region 2. Number 2, Central of Phoenix City. They were a winner over the Prattville Lions 27-7 tonight down at Garrett Stadium in Phoenix City. Crawford Office Supply, we could not do this show without them. We have been playing musical chairs tonight in a lot of ways, and all those chairs that we're switching out and playing musical chairs with came courtesy of Crawford Office Supply. They not only have brand new furniture, but they have scratch and dent furniture, office supplies, janitorial supplies. Visit their showroom on South Layton Avenue in Anniston, just off of Quintard behind Betty's Barbecue. Call them at 237-3310, the number to call. Crawford Office Supplies, your place for furniture, scratch and dent furniture, supplies, and janitorial. We'll be back with more of After the Game as we roll on a wild football Friday night.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of J.D. Hess, Danny Shears, Fred Wilson, Carolyn Henderson, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. Beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums. Our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly support the arts. If you are considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You will be glad you did. When you shop at Pee Wee Turner Motors, you will be a winner. As lifelong supporters of East Alabama athletics, we at Pee Wee Turner Motors would like to invite you to check out our quality inventory of trucks, cars, and SUVs at peeweeturnermotors.net. We always guarantee credit approval and look forward to serving you and your family at Pee Wee Turner Motors on Quintard Avenue, Anniston.
Your neighborhood Grub Mart is your one-stop shop for everything you need when you're on the go. Grub Mart features the best prices on Coke and Pepsi products and is the home to the 99-cent bag of ice every day. And Grub Mart is your exclusive home for the popcorn bucket. Purchase yours for only $5.99, then bring it for free refills throughout the year. And save every day with your Grub Mart Super Saver card. When you're on the go, it's good to know Grub Mart has everything you need. Gas, diesel, and delicious Oleo donuts. In business over 78 years, visit your local Grub Mart today.
Hi, this is Jimmy Newman from Oxford Lumber. I've kicked off many times in my football days, and that's an exciting play. When you're ready to kick off your next building or remodeling project, let us make sure you start your project off right, with the right material at the right price so you can score big and get the job done. Stop by and see our local guys with over 60 years of experience serving you. Come by any one of our 4 locations in Oxford, Talladega, Jacksonville, or Roanoke. And don't forget about our low price guarantee.
Cash back. Plain and simple. That's what you'll get on the Noble Bank Cash Back account. No tricks, no gimmicky names, just free accounts that pay you cash back. If unlimited transactions, fraud protection, and refunds on ATM withdrawal fees nationwide sounds like your kind of banking, visit us at noblebank.com and learn more about the Noble Cash Back account. Welcome to personal banking. Welcome to Noble Bank and Trust. NobleBank.com. Member FDIC.
We are down to the final week. This week, the Calhoun County Quarterback Club has an open date. We talked about all those open dates. Well, the Quarterback Club's having an open date this coming Monday, with it being Halloween night on Monday. But they'll kick back in with their final meeting of the year on Monday, November 7th. Matt Schwab, former NFL quarterback, will be in Anniston at the Anniston Country Club to speak. If you would like to be in the Quarterback Club, because they do a lot of off-season work, they give scholarships, huge scholarships to football players here in Calhoun County. They also come up with a phenomenal, probably the best in the state media day, high school media day that we have in July of every year. And then, of course, they'll have a full season in 2023 of great meetings with big football famous people coming right here to Calhoun County. If you'd like some more information about being a part of all of that with the Calhoun County Quarterback Club, contact Kevin Gibson at 256-453-4886. That's 453-4886. Well, we were all over the place. We were all over Talladega County and Calhoun County last night, Cleburne County. We were in Etowah County tonight, and we had a pretty interesting matchup. I did have a real feel for this game, guys, between Westbrook and White Plains. You get into a game where neither team's going to the playoffs, and you really don't know how teams are going to react to that. Westbrook had never lost to White Plains, even though White Plains is a much larger school than Westbrook. But everything kind of held pat tonight. Westbrook with a very impressive win. I'm sure this was their senior night tonight. We got highlights of that game from Jack Osborne Memorial Stadium. Appeared to be a very impressive win by the Westbrook Warriors and Coach Drew Knowles.
Yeah, I think these are two teams that are trending in the right direction long term. I think both coaches have their team, going in the right direction. Both Coach Knowles as well as Coach Chandler Tyree for White Plains. Our Bailey Morris was over in the Etowah County area today. John, you mentioned it. It was senior night. These two teams hooking up again. There you see it. We love our super seniors, the class of 2023, being honored tonight. It is Westbrook Christian with the ball early on. It's Carmichael Catling. You'll see a lot of him in this first drive. Tough running here, 20-plus yards, picks up a first down. Very next play, right back to Catling, and right back to the guy who got him a first down. He moves the chains once more. A little bit later, same drive. It is Catling again, this time virtually untouched until he gets into the end zone, and the first points are on the board. Brought to you by the Warriors, up 7-0 early on. White Plains now on offense. It is Felipe Holloway. On the carry, he would pick up the first down here. A nice run to the outside. You see the speed there from Holloway. A little bit later on, it is L.J. Burns. This is fourth down, a fake punt here. Burns picks up the fourth down. Chandler Tyree feeling good. He goes for it on fourth down again. And once again, gets it again. This time it's his quarterback, Dylan Barksdale, taking it for himself for the big first down run. Very next play, they go right back to L.J. Burns. He got him the first down with the fake punt. Then he got him a big first down right here. More than that, it's the touchdown. White Plains on the board, 7-7. All ball game is tied up here in the first quarter. A little bit later on, it's the Warriors back here on offense. They go to Brody Wood here. Wood cuts it to the outside, picks up about 21 yards and a big first down there. And then after sitting out a few plays, Catling's back on the field. So when he's back on the field, you get him the football. He gets a big first down there. A few plays later, they go with the quarterback, Mason Coley, who slides his way in for the quarterback keeper for the touchdown. And that's where we leave it. 14-7, that's the go-ahead touchdown. And it's a high-scoring game after that, guys. But, John, you mentioned it. Westbrook Christian had not lost to White Plains before. They keep the shutout on the board on the series.
A couple of thoughts here. All three of us were at the Etowah County Media Day back this summer. And one of the things that Coach Drew Knowles told us, Carmichael Catling was the leading rusher in Westbrook Christian history even before the season started.
Wow.
And he had a phenomenal season. But another couple of thoughts here, guys. These two teams really got dealt a raw deal, so to speak, because Westbrook, for the first time ever, got moved into Class 3A with defending state champion Piedmont. Also, Sylvania having one of their best teams in a while. Geraldine having their best team in a while. Then Plainview and Ohatchee and Oaks Bluff, tradition-rich programs, Glencoe in there. That's tough sledding. And then you look at White Plains. They are in 4A. It seems like they're trapped in 4A Region 4 forever, and that probably is the toughest region, at least at the top of that region in the state in 4A. So they get put in the region with Hanley and Munford and Anniston and Jacksonville. Guys, both those schools had, I thought, good football teams. If they were in any other regions in the state, they're probably playoff teams.
Yeah, I think, and both coaches know that as well. The good thing about that is that if you do get one of those 4 spots, well, you're playoff tested because you've played playoff games virtually for the most part of the season in the region. But yeah, you're right, John. I mean, Montgomery did them no favors here, putting these 2 teams in this region. And I know it's just geographics and it's just the way that things go. But those coaches will tell you it'll get those players better as the years go along and as the seasons go along. Really tough sledding though for both teams. But it was good to see Westbrook Christian end off the year with a nice win.
Yeah, because he also told us this could be it might be one of his better teams that he's had talent-wise. But he's going to be playing 4 or 5 other teams that may be having some of the best teams they've had.
Right.
You know, this is Piedmont's senior group that's been coming along for a while now. So, I mean, and then other teams, you know, and that just as a coach, sometimes you think, I'm fixing to have the best team I've ever had, but you know what? There's 5 other teams in our region that's got just the best team they've ever had. And that's and for White Plains and Chandler, not only is his region in the South, but there's 5 or 6 other teams in the South that are as good as the people in his region. So,
yeah,
I mean, it was challenging. And just think about last year. You had Cherokee County in there too.
Yes.
Who went north.
Right.
I know they're praising going north.
Yeah.
But that is a booger for a region now, I'm telling you. I mean, when they do reclassification, you got some guys going, hey, and you got some just crying.
Westbrook wins the game over White Plains 47-27. Hey, let me tell you about something exciting and new. Get used to this. EAN, it's East Alabama Now. Local news is back in East Alabama. East Alabama Now is your online source for everything happening in our communities. East Alabama Now, bringing you local news every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday evening, all to keep you informed and in the know. Please like, subscribe, and follow East Alabama Now on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. EAN News on Facebook. East Alabama Now, bridging our community. And there'll be a story there coming up on Wednesday about high school football, Alabama. You need to remember those letters. EAN, East Alabama Now. East Alabama Now, local news right now on Facebook and YouTube.
My dad taught me to fish right here years ago. But when an old sports injury started slowing him down, I knew we'd need to search for the latest procedures in knee and hip replacement. With physical therapy tailored to his needs, a dedicated team of doctors and nurses, and he'd want a fast recovery time. So where'd he find all that?
Right here at RMC.
At Farmers and Merchants Bank, we're showing off our school spirit with our newly designed vertical Spirit debit cards. Now these are customized with your favorite school's logo, and half of every Spirit card purchased goes toward your school. So show off your colors and support your local school with the F&M Spirit debit card. You can learn more at fnm.bank. Member FDIC.
Anniston Orthopedics continues to provide a legacy of outstanding sports injury care on and off the field, keeping our players in the game. Anniston Orthopedics offers our Saturday morning sports injury clinic from 8 to 10 a.m. throughout the high school football season. Anniston Orthopedics also offers full-service physical therapy and occupational therapy departments. To learn more, visit our website at www.annistonortho.com. Anniston Orthopedics, located in the Tyler Center adjacent to RMC.
Your home is a reflection of you, whether that's classic, farm style, or something unique. We at Ted's Carpet and Floor understand that, and we'll help you through the selection, finance, and installation process. We have an extensive selection of designer tiles, carpet, laminate, and hardwood. Let us help you choose the perfect granite or quartz to customize your kitchen or bathroom. We offer free in-home measurements, estimates, and design consultations. Ted's Carpet and Floor, your style, our passion.
Are you ready for some football? Come in all month long and take a test drive at Team 1 Chevrolet and have a chance to win an Alabama, Auburn tailgate, or the ultimate tailgate package. Log on to ChevroletofGadsden.com for complete details. Chevrolet of Gadsden, where everyone's a winner. Someone's going to win an Alabama tailgate, someone's going to win an Auburn tailgate, and somebody's going to win the ultimate grand prize, including grill, generator, and big screen TV. Chevrolet of Gadsden, home of the best people, the best service, period.
You saw earlier the folks from Ted's Carpet and Floor presenting our Team of the Week Tough Guy Trophy to the Spring Garden Panthers. By the way, coming up in just a little bit, we will have our Team of the Week announcement for week number 11 of the high school season. But that Tough Guy Trophy, courtesy of Awards to Remember, go to awardstoremember.com. Visit them on Alabama Highway 144 in Ohatchee. They are one of the top 10 awards dealers in the entire Southeast, right here in East Alabama, right here in Calhoun County. They provide, I think that there's the plaque that they provide for our Player of the Week. I know, being on the Calhoun County Sports Hall of Fame, they handle all of our awards, and we have massive, big, nice awards with etchings of the inductees, all of that, and they do handle all that and always handle that very well. That is the folks at Awards to Remember, awardstoremember.com. Well, we had another big game tonight. You mentioned Bailey Morris being on the road. Bailey was, well, we got something there. We're going to kick off in 5 minutes. But hey, let me just tell you, we're going to kick off in a couple of minutes with South Side and Etowah tonight. This was just up the road. We had at Westbrook, we had that game between White Plains and Westbrook. This was a little bit different game tonight because both these teams are in the state playoffs. Yep. Both of these teams have had very good seasons in South Side and Etowah. This is a big rival game. I wouldn't be surprised right now if this might be, at this current point in time, the biggest rivalry in Etowah County right now, Southside and Etowah. A lot to play for. Teams trying to get momentum. As Southside heads to the 5A playoffs, Etowah goes to the 4A playoffs. Packed house at Barney Hood Stadium tonight at Southside.
That's exactly right. Before we jump into the highlights, this is what I love, Coach, about Week 11. If you want to call it Week 11, it's 11, 10. I still call it 10. So we have some disagreements of 0 or 11. Well, what I love about it is you see a lot of your rivalry games either Week 1 or Week 5. Sometimes you see it in the last week of the regular season. And what I like about the last week of the regular season, sometimes coaches take this off. And some coaches like to play rivalry games. Some coaches like to play a playoff team and essentially get a tune-up right before the playoffs. I think it helps both teams. And this is that kind of game. It feels both. It's a rivalry game, and it helps both teams as they move on to the second season. Let's go over to the Southside area. Bailey Morris was over at Barney Hood Stadium there. You see the score all locked up at 14. Second play, Southside football, Gage Neesmith airs it out. Jordan Bryan to the house for the touchdown. Bang, just like that. Out of the gates in the third quarter. PAT is good. Southside up 20-14. Now Etowah on offense. So you see the extra point here for the Southside Panthers. That's no good. So there you see 20-14 there for Southside. Now up. Etowah now with the football. Trace Thompson, nobody downfield. Great blocking, calls his own number. Pulls the football down, runs it. Guys, this is a key ability of his to be able to run the football when everything is covered down the field, especially in man-to-man. Next play, Thompson using his arm hits Brady Carver for the touchdown for Etowah. PAT is now good in Etowah. Now has the go-ahead lead, 21-20, your score, Etowah with the lead here. But the Panthers now back on offense. It is Gage Neesmith. His pass is picked off by Keelan Smith. The Etowah defense coming up big. A nice return there for the Blue Devils. Sets up their offense in great field position. A little bit later on, it's Thompson once again using his arm, finds just a little bit of a crease, and he finds Jamison Devine for the touchdown. And now Etowah goes up by 8, 28-20. In the third quarter, Etowah now with the football. It is Thompson again. We saw it with his arm for 2 touchdowns. We saw it for his legs for now 2 first downs. Keeps the chains moving and keeps the drive alive. Here, a little miscommunication here on the snap, but Thompson will just go deep and finds Devine one more time. Just plays like a center fielder there, deep inside the Panther territory, and then Thompson takes it in for the touchdown himself. That puts the Blue Devils up now 35-20. This was a 14-14 game, guys, early in the third quarter. But Southside now back on offense. Just can't seem to get anything going on. Mason Teague does not get the first down here. Great play by the Etowah defense once more. After that play, it was a turnover on downs. Thompson, once again, this time finding Fat Finch. He's wrestled down into the ground, but not till he gets into the end zone. Fat Finch scores once again. Etowah just blows this thing away in the second half, guys. 42-20 at that point. There you see the final score, 42-26. Guys, this is a 14-14 game when we started. There you see Etowah blowing it away. Both teams in with the same record at 6-4, but a great finish here by the Etowah defense as well as their offense. They've had to play in a couple shootouts this year, but they can score it, and the Blue Devils get the win.
I think the biggest thing we can take away from this game here is the defense they played in the second half.
Yeah.
And you know that because Coach Glover is a defensive guy by heart. A lot of people say, well, he's scoring a lot of points. Yeah, but he likes to see those not scoring points.
Right.
You know, he was the defensive coordinator last year for Clay Chalk in the state championship. So he's been there and done that and knows what it's like. So that was the first thing I took away from them is the second half performance by their defense to give them a chance.
Yeah, and their defense has been really strong all year, but when they've had to get into shootouts, their offense can make it happen. I think that's one of the biggest things about this team. Thompson, the quarterback, true dual threat. You saw it there in those highlights. Nothing open downfield. He can run it, but then he also keeps plays alive and then helps to get the score. There you saw Jameson and others there, part of the offense. Omarion, they call him Fat Finch, getting their touchdown as well. So I mean, they have a lot of weapons there too offensively.
Well, I tell you, my takeaway was Jon Holder's not going to get in front of Trace Thompson, that quarterback, because I stood by him at Etowah Media Day, and I stood by him at a couple of Etowah games this year. He is every bit of 6'2" and 230. And so when you see some of the moves he made on the sidelines and those highlights where he's kind of dancing around guys, keep in mind that's a 6'2", 230-pound guy that can run the football. I ain't getting in front of him. He's a weapon for them at quarterback, and a 4-year starter as well. Huge weapon for the Etowah Blue Devils as they move into, I think, where they're one of the favorites in North Alabama. I've been on record as saying I think the team that goes to Jordan-Hare Stadium is going to be one of the teams that comes out of Class 4A Region 6, either Aniana or Etowah or Cherokee County. They all kind of beat each other up. Which one gets hot in the playoffs? I think that's going to be the team that winds up going to Auburn.
Yeah, and they all have different strengths going into the season, number one, but now going into the playoffs. I feel like every one of those teams that John mentioned are leaning on their strengths. Talking about nicknames, a funny nickname. We had Fat Finch, but we also have Fluff Bothwell, and then we also have a great offense there at Cherokee County. So I think every team will be leaning into their strengths, coach. And I'm like John. I think any one of those teams that make it out can make that deep run and probably find themselves in the state championship game.
I do. Here's the one warning for all of them out there. One of them is going to have to go to Tuscumbia, Alabama, and come out of Dessler with a win.
Yeah.
And that is a very tough place to go.
Yeah.
Been there and done that, been there and lost, been there and won.
Right.
And it's a very difficult place to go to. But I think if there's anybody that could do it, any one of those three could actually go do that.
Meanwhile, Southside in the first round of the 5A playoffs, they had a tough road in Class 6A the last couple of years. It doesn't get any easier in the first round. They go to Birmingham to face Ramsey in the first round of the playoffs. So it doesn't get any easier for Southside, even though they dropped from 6A to 5A this year.
Well, they said that. They said, hey, just because we're dropping, it doesn't mean that competition gets any easier. No. At the time, you could kind of think of it as lip service, but it's not lip service. I mean, there's tough football there, and they'll face it in the first round of the postseason.
They'll see plenty of people that can run.
Yes.
If they saw athletes tonight, they'll see just as many or maybe more.
Probably more.
Probably more. From top to bottom.
Team 1 Chevrolet of Gadsden, time for our next extra point of them tonight. Class 4A Montgomery Catholic will finish the regular season with the top offense in the state in high school football. The Knights finished their 10-game slate averaging right at 57 points per game. Catholic scored 42 in the season opener versus McGill-Tulane Catholic, and they have not been held under 45 points since that opening contest. The Knights scored over 50 points in 8 of their 10 games. We come back, a huge region rundown is straight ahead.
Hi, this is Jimmy Newman from Oxford Lumber. I've kicked off many times in my football days, and that's an exciting play. When you're ready to kick off your next building or remodeling project, let us make sure you start your project off right, with the right material at the right price so you can score big and get the job done. Stop by and see our local guys with over 60 years of experience serving you. Come by any one of our 4 locations in Oxford, Talladega, Jacksonville, Roanoke, and don't forget about our low price guarantee.
Your neighborhood Grub Mart is your one-stop shop for everything you need when you're on the go. Grub Mart features the best prices on Coke and Pepsi products and is the home to the 99-cent bag of ice every day. And Grub Mart is your exclusive home for the popcorn bucket. Purchase yours for only $5.99, then bring it for free refills throughout the year. And save every day with your Grub Mart Super Saver Card. When you're on the go, it's good to know Grub Mart has everything you need. Gas, diesel, and delicious Oleo donuts. In business over 78 years, visit your local Grub Mart today.
Cash back. Plain and simple. That's what you'll get on the Noble Bank Cash Back account. No tricks, no gimmicky names, just free accounts that pay you cash back. If unlimited transactions, fraud protection, and refunds on ATM withdrawal fees nationwide sounds like your kind of banking, visit us at noblebank.com and learn more about the Noble Cash Back account. Welcome to personal banking. Welcome to Noble Bank and Trust. Noblebank.com. Member FDIC.
There's a lot to think about when you're having a baby. Colors of the nursery, names, and most importantly, where to deliver.
We want a hospital that gives families a more personalized birthing experience.
With a compassionate team of doctors and nurses, and a hospital where my baby and I can instantly bond with all the comforts of home.
So where do we find all that?
Right here at RMC, the first designated baby-friendly hospital in Alabama.
Aniston Orthopedics continues to provide a legacy of outstanding sports injury care on and off the field, keeping our players in the game. Aniston Orthopedics offers our Saturday morning sports injury clinic from 8 to 10 a.m. throughout the high school football season. Aniston Orthopedics also offers full-service physical therapy and occupational therapy departments. To learn more, visit our website at www.anistonortho.com. Aniston Orthopedics, located in the Tyler Center adjacent to RMC.
Aniston Orthopedics, their Saturday morning sports clinic is open every Saturday, 8 a.m., third floor of the Tyler Center in Midtown Aniston. It doesn't matter if you're a football player, you might be a cheerleader. We had cheerleaders in, they get bumps and bruises. Cross country, volleyball, we've had some intense volleyball action going on with the state championships this week in Birmingham. Whatever your ailment is, go out there and see them on Saturday mornings. Aniston Orthopedics, their Saturday morning sports injury clinic, 8 a.m. every Saturday at the third floor of the Tyler Center in Aniston. Back on After the Game, presented by the Calhoun County Commission. Jon Holder back with the coach, Michael Short. We're going to do something a little bit different because this is going to be this being the last week of the regular season. We're going to run through all of our regions in one segment, a complete region rundown. We'll give you some analysis. And we're going to go also as we run through this and tell you who's going to the playoffs and who's not. We'll also tell you where they're going to be playing, who they'll be playing in the first round of the playoffs coming up next Friday night, which, by the way, we'll tell you we're going to be here for the first 3 rounds of the playoffs. We'll be here with full shows next Friday night for the first round, the next Friday night on Veterans Day night for the second round, and for the quarterfinals coming up on November 18th. So we should have 3 more shows after tonight as we take you through the AHSAA state playoffs. So without further ado, let's go to our region rundown now. We'll begin in Class 1A, Region 6, Spring Garden, Ragland, Wadley, and Donahoe. Those are the teams in the playoffs. Donahoe will travel to play at region champion Lynn. Also in that, you'll have the winner of tonight's Pickens County and Marion County game. They will be coming to play at Ragland. Also, Wadley will take on the winner of that Pickens County-Marion County game. I should have said the loser of Pickens County-Marion County will come to Ragland. The winner of that game will host Wadley. So Wadley either going to Reform or they'll be going over to Ewan. And then you've got, as we said earlier in that game, you've got Spring Garden. They will be at home hosting South Lamar out of Millport. And that will be at Spring Garden next Friday night. Now, We continue in Class 1A Region 7. This is now set as well. Valley Head is the region champion. Despite a loss last night, they lost to Collinsville. They'll be at home against Phillips of Bear Creek. Coosa Christian will be at home in Gadsden next week, as the Conquerors are going to be hosting Hackleburg, coming over from Marion County. Appalachian, they're in the state playoffs as well in Class 1A. They are the number 3 team. They'll be traveling to Addison, and Cedar Bluff, with their win tonight, they take on undefeated Meek over in Arley in Winston County. Let's go to Class 2A now. Class 2A Region 4, the top 4 that are in the playoffs are Thorsby, Isabella, Vincent, and B.B. Comer. And as you look at the matchups there, B.B. Comer at home against Lynette. That's a tough first-round draw. Thorsby has to go to Reeltown. That's a tough first-round draw. Isabella is going to Highland Home. That's a tough first-round draw. And Luverne is coming to Vincent. This may be in all 7 classifications the toughest first-round matchups, with 2 regions against each other, with regions 4 and 3 playing each other. Now as we go to Class 2A Region 6 in the north, Southeastern, they got a forfeit win, so they'll remain 6-0 in region play. Southeastern is going to be at home in the first round of the playoffs. They'll be hosting either Winston County, Lamar County, or Sulligent. They were in a 3-way tie for 4th coming into that region tonight. So one of those teams will be coming to play at Southeastern. Also, one of those teams will be coming to Cleveland to play the number 2 team. Locust Fork will be on the road taking on Tuscaloosa Academy, who's in their first year of the AHSAA, and they're in the state playoffs and hosting a first-round game against Locust Fork. And the West End Patriots will be on the road as they go to West Alabama as well to take on the Aliceville Yellow Jackets. Class 3A now, Class 3A Region 4, the top 4, Wellborn, Saxe, Randolph County, and Dadeville. The 2 Anniston teams, Wellborn and Saxe, they will be going to Montgomery. They could probably just follow each other, because you got Saxe going to Trinity Presbyterian, you got Wellborn going to St. James. Those 2 schools are about 3 miles apart, so they could just travel together. Randolph County, despite the loss tonight, they will be at home against Alabama Christian. That is a tough first-round matchup. And Dadeville gets south side of Selma coming into Dadeville in the first round of the 3A playoffs. 3A Region 6, the top 4, Ohatchee, Geraldine, Sylvania, and the Piedmont Bulldogs. Geraldine, I think this is a great first-round matchup. Geraldine goes to Winfield. Fayette County comes to Sylvania. I think that's a great matchup. Oatman will be a big underdog coming to Piedmont next week. And the Ohatchee Indians, they have a very tough task as they go over to West Alabama to face the Gordo Greenway. Class 4A now. Class 4A Region 4, the top 4, Munford, Jacksonville, Hanley, Anniston. We told you Munford going to Tuscaloosa to take on Alabama Christian. Jacksonville also on the road. I think they got a great chance of going into Centerville and beating the Bibb County Choctaws. Hanley will be at home in Roanoke. West Blockton comes to town. They'll be a big favorite. And Anniston takes on Sipsey Valley out of Buell, Alabama. In Tuscaloosa County, they'll be coming up to take on the Anniston Bulldogs next Friday night. We mentioned a lot about 4A Region 6. We mentioned Cherokee County, Etowah, Aniana, and Good Hope is the 4 team. Good Hope goes to Dora. I'm going to make a prediction. Class 4A Region 6 is going to sweep the first round. I think Good Hope is going to go win at Dora. Corner comes to Cherokee County. I think the Warriors win that one. North Side will play at Etowah. I think Etowah is a big favorite there. And I think Aniana goes on the road to Haleyville, and I think they're going to beat the Lions. Don't be surprised next Friday night if you see a clean sweep by Class 4A Region 6. Class 5A now, Central Clay County, Beauregard, Tallahassee, Elmore County. There are some tough opponents here for this region. Elmore County's got to go to Demopolis in the first round. Tallahassee has maybe one of the surprise teams in the state. They got to go to Selma to play. This is a good Selma team. Then, of course, you've got Marbury coming in to take on Beauregard, and Central Clay County will be a big favorite at home next week at Volunteer Stadium, as old region rival from the last couple of years, Holtville out of Deatsville, comes in to take on Central Clay County. 5A Region 6, Southside, Alexandria, Moody, and Leeds are the playoff teams. Alexandria, tough road at Pleasant Grove next week. Jasper comes to Moody. Fairfield will play at Leeds. And as we mentioned earlier, Southside goes on the road to Birmingham to face the Ramsey Rams. And we've got in Class 6A, 2 teams from East Alabama that will be in the playoffs. Oxford being one of those. Oxford, Pinson Valley, Center Point, and Clay Chalkville out of 6A Region 6. As we said, Oxford goes to Gardendale next week at Drivers Stadium. Also next Friday night, you're going to see Center Point. They will be at home in the first round of the 6A playoffs as they'll be hosting cross-city rival in Metro Birmingham, Jackson Olin. The Mustangs come out to Center Point to play. Clay Chalkville will be at home against the Parker Thundering Herd in another all-Jefferson County matchup. And finally, you will see, as we said, Pinson Valley. Think about Mountain Brook. First round of the playoffs, you're thinking you're going to get a break at home, and you got the Pinson Valley Indians coming in to take on Mountain Brook. That might be the best first round matchup in all 7 classifications next Friday night over at Mountain Brook. And finally, in 6A North, 6A Region 8, Gadsden City's the region champion, along with Fort Payne, Hazel Green, and Buckhorn. The Titans will be at home against Coleman. Could be a great first round game there. Fort Payne will also be at home. Decatur coming in. Tough matchup for the Fort Payne Wildcats. And Hazel Green and Buckhorn will have their hands full. Buckhorn goes to Hartselle to take on the Tigers. And Hazel Green, the Trojans, are going to go to Muscle Shoals next week. Coach, that's everybody in our part of the state that's going to be in the state playoffs. I went through all those 1A through 6A. What stands out to you about the playoffs next week in the first round? What games are you looking at?
Well, I'm going to watch 4A. I mean, just any of our 4A teams. It's going to be interesting to watch them and how that goes. I think that Jacksonville, I think Jacksonville can go win, but I think Munford may end up getting a better bracket than they did as far as a draw. Yeah, they're going to face a team that may throw it 40 times, but they're not going to face as an athletic team as Jacksonville's going to face. But I think Jacksonville, by playing tonight's game, is going to face those type of athletes. So I think they got a very good opportunity to go on the road and win that game. We already mentioned a while ago about Etowah, Cherokee County, Aniana, those people. I think all 3 of them have an opportunity to win. But that one region, what is the 3A?
3A Region 4, where you got Welborn and Sachs going on the road. But I'll tell you, don't be surprised next Friday night, Coach. I think 3A Region 6, Piedmont's going to be a big favorite. But don't be surprised if Geraldine and Sylvania make some noise out of that region. And Ohatchee may go give Gordo more than what they're expecting to give, too.
Gordo's not going to face, they're going to have to work a whole week on getting ready for their offense. Whether or not they've worked on it and they know who they're going to play, but still, there's a whole lot of difference in seeing it in practice and seeing it in the game. It'll be interesting to see if Ohatchee can carry their defense with them on the road and not have any turnovers and keep it close in the fourth quarter. Their experience of being there will be a great thing for them.
We've still got our muscle team to announce. Also, we have coming up, we're going to talk about a couple of playoff game that was played tonight here in East Alabama, a semifinal playoff game, and show you highlights. We'll also take you to Heflin for highlights of a big game between Cleburne County and Walter Welborn. We also got East Alabama Top 10 and Team of the Week, all coming up on After the Game, presented by the Calhoun County Commission.
Are you ready for some football? Come in all month long and take a test drive at Team 1 Chevrolet and have a chance to win an Alabama, Auburn tailgate, or the ultimate tailgate package. Log on to ChevroletofGadsden.com for complete details. Chevrolet of Gadsden, where everyone's a winner. Someone's going to win an Alabama tailgate, someone's going to win an Auburn tailgate, and somebody's going to win the ultimate grand prize, including grill, generator, and big screen TV. Chevrolet of Gadsden, home of the best people, the best service, period.
At Farmers and Merchants Bank, we're showing off our school spirit with our newly designed vertical Spirit debit cards. Now these are customized with your favorite school's logo, and half of every Spirit card purchased goes toward your school. So show off your colors and support your local school with the F&M Spirit debit card. You can learn more at fnm.bank. Member FDIC.
When you shop at Pee Wee Turner Motors, you will be a winner. As lifelong supporters of East Alabama athletics, we at Pee Wee Turner Motors would like to invite you to check out our quality inventory of trucks, cars, and SUVs at peeweeturnermotors.net. We always guarantee credit approval and look forward to serving you and your family at Pee Wee Turner Motors on Quintard Avenue, Anniston. The Calhoun County Commission, made up of J.D. Hess, Danny Shears, Fred Wilson, Carolyn Henderson, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. Beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums. Our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly support the arts. If you are considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You'll be glad you did.
Your home is a reflection of you, whether that's classic, farm style, or something unique. We at Ted's Carpet and Floor understand that, and we'll help you through the selection, finance, and installation process. We have an extensive selection of designer tiles, carpet, laminate, and hardwood. Let us help you choose the perfect granite or quartz to customize your kitchen or bathroom. We offer free in-home measurements, estimates, and design consultations. Ted's Carpet and Floor, your style, our passion.
RMC Health System, our RMC Media Center here at Parker Memorial Baptist Church in Anniston. It's been full tonight. We've had the Jacksonville cheerleaders in. We had the entire Cedar Bluff High School football team. We had Coach Sam Adams of the Oxford Yellow Jackets in. We had parents in. We had everybody, it seemed like, visiting us tonight. That's a good thing. And we appreciate RMC Health System. They have new primary care doctors at all their family practice locations. They're now taking new patients in Oxford, Anniston, Jacksonville, and Roanoke. Those doctors include Dr. Brooke Carroll, Dr. Trey Emerson, and Dr. Bridget Gibson. RMC bringing you our RMC Media Center here at Parker Memorial Baptist Church on Quintard Avenue in Midtown Anniston. Let's tell you about our young oil company muscle team now. The muscle team, they get those black t-shirts that say Grub Mart Muscle Team on those. This where we kind of respect and recognize the offensive and defensive linemen, one of the top offensive and defensive linemen. And there it is, the Alexandria offensive line. They were phenomenal last week. Not only did they lead the way in Alexandria's 69-21 win over Talladega, obviously scoring 69 points, but the offensive front helped Alexandria to their highest point total of the year and 446 yards of total offense. That included 9 touchdowns and 343 yards rushing. Those offensive linemen include DeMarcus Williams, Gatlin Helms, DJ Argo, Luke Curvin, Ryan Brown, and Clay Bridges. The Alexandria offensive line, our Grub Mart Muscle Team, and every one of those guys, there's 5 of those, but we have 6 Muscle Team t-shirts. This is what they'll get, as they'll get that Grub Mart Muscle Team t-shirt coming out to Alexandria. We'll be getting that to the Alexandria offensive line coming up this week. Coach Short holding that up for the Muscle Team. We mentioned that the playoffs start next week for the Alabama High School Athletic Association, but in the Christian Football Association, 8-man football here in the state, the playoffs began tonight. The way their playoffs work, you only have the top 4 teams that make it. Jacksonville Christian was the number 2 seed, and so they were hosting a playoff game tonight at Tommy Miller Field in Jacksonville against the Tabernacle Torches. I saw the first time they played. Jacksonville won 58-52. They played again tonight in a rematch, and Gerhard, you got to see the Thunder tonight against the Torches.
First time ever, John, watching 8-man football and seeing the differences with 6 less total players on the field, 3 on each side. I'll tell you what, you still have to be an athlete to play. It's a little different style of football. Stylistically, it's really different, but it's really, really engaging. As John mentioned, this is a semifinal game, and at last check of the national rankings, JCA on October 23rd was number 5 in the country, and Tabernacle out of Gardendale was number 12 in the nation. So 2 of the top teams in the country playing in the semifinals in the playoffs. We'll go out to Jacksonville over at JCA for the rematch between the Flames and the Thunder today. There you take a look at the Flames coming out and the Thunder coming out as well under legendary head coach Tommy Miller, who is leading the Thunder back out. But keep in mind there, without their starting quarterback, we'll get on more a little bit that in just a little bit. But it's Clinton Chase getting the thing started off for the Flames early on. He goes to Bryant Howard, picks up 12 yards and a first down here. A little bit later on 4th down, Chase hits Troy Box, but look at the great defense there by Braxton Brown, the senior, coming up with the big play, turnover on downs. A little bit later on, rollout here, Noah Lee to Ethan Fair. Fair, 9 yards right there, picks up a first down, or getting close to a first down. Here on 4th down, an impromptu play here by the quarterback, Lee, but they just fall just short of the first down, so it's a turnover on downs, back to Tabernacle. Watch this air it out play here from Clinton Chase to Bryant Howard. That's 47 yards into JCA territory, but that drive stalls. A little bit later on, this is a big turn of events here for JCA. Noah Lee hits Travis Barnwell in stride, going in for 6, but look at the hustle here from Dalton. Gets into the end zone right beforehand, punches that ball out. It goes out of bounds. It's a touchback, guys, so no points on the board here. And then watch this play here by Tabernacle. You cannot play better defense than what JCA's Hunter Brown did, but watch this catch here by Bryant Howard. He comes up with a play here. No points, guys, in the first quarter as I left. 70 plus as I leave here, so I don't get any points. They waited until I left to score all the points, but it's the Thunder getting the win. 46-32, your score here, and it's JCA now into the finals.
Gerhard, the same thing happened to me when we were there on a Thursday night when they played Tabernacle. I think we left and it was 12-6, and it wound up being 58-52. The thing I love is the Torches and the Thunder, the only schools in Alabama with those nicknames. Jacksonville Christian's the only Thunder, Tabernacle's the only Torches. I love those nicknames. And so now JCA advances to play in the state championship game next Friday night in Tuscaloosa, neutral site game at Tuscaloosa Christian. They're the host. Probably, we don't know yet because we don't have the score, probably going to play the team that handed them their only loss, Russell Christian out of Meridian, Mississippi.
Well, the thing I was impressed with is not only, you kept mentioning not just state, but they're ranked in the country.
Correct, yes.
We're not talking about just Alabama. Right here in Northeast Alabama, we're talking about the country. Yep. And I don't know how you didn't see him scoring with all those catches. There was a lot of great throws and great tackling. Yeah. I mean, because that game is in space. Mm-hmm. That's why you got to have athletes, because that game is all played in space. Oh, yeah. It's all about space.
Yes, it's basketball on grass. It's a lot of one-on-one matchups. Yes. And you have to play great defense. And because they're smaller schools, you always mention this, Coach, you got to play both ways. This deep in the season, playing both ways and still playing great defense shows you the discipline of both squads.
They have to be pretty good on defense, because when I saw, what was the first team, the visiting team, the Torches? Tabernacles, the Torches. When they come out, they're big. I mean, they have they had like 20-something kids, and only 8 of them are playing. So I thought, the Thunder did a great job defending them. Mm-hmm. And then maybe they just all decided to score after you left.
Yeah. Congratulations to Jacksonville Christian. Before they joined the Athletic Association, back in the 90s when they were in 8-man football, they won state championships. Yep. So this is nothing new for Tommy Miller and his team. We want to wish them the best as they go for a state championship coming up in 8-man football next Friday night in Tuscaloosa. Young Oil Grub Mart bringing you the muscle team. You saw those Grub Mart t-shirts. They are the home of the 99-cent bag of ice. Inflation, that's not in play at Grub Mart. They've got the ice has always been 99-cent bags of ice. They've got the Oleo donuts, got great quality gasoline. They have locations all throughout East Alabama, Cherokee County to Lee County, all points in between, and the Grub Tub. You go in and you bring your popcorn bucket even from last year. They're going to make you a great deal. They're going to let that go for another year where they'll fill that popcorn bucket every day that you want that fresh popcorn from Grub Mart, bringing you our Grub Mart Muscle Team. We come back, we've got more highlights and Team of the Week and our East Alabama Top 10, the final one of the year, coming up.
At Farmers and Merchants Bank, we're showing off our school spirit with our newly designed vertical Spirit debit cards. Now these are customized with your favorite school's logo, and half of every Spirit card purchased goes toward your school. So show off your colors and support your local school with the F&M Spirit debit card. You can learn more at fnm.bank. Member FDIC.
Hi, this is Jimmy Newman from Oxford Lumber. I've kicked off many times in my football days, and that's an exciting play. When you're ready to kick off your next building or remodeling project, let us make sure you start your project off right, with the right material at the right price so you can score big and get the job done. Stop by and see our local guys with over 60 years of experience serving you. Come by any one of our 4 locations in Oxford, Talladega, Jacksonville, Roanoke, and don't forget about our low price guarantee.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of J.D. Hess, Danny Shears, Fred Wilson, Carolyn Henderson, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. Beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums. Our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly support the arts. If you are considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You will be glad you did.
I can't imagine life without Gwen, but we came dangerously close.
I was having chest pains.
Luckily, there was a hospital nearby that quickly discovered one of her arteries was 100% blocked. A hospital with life-saving technology and the latest in cardiac treatment, with an experienced team of doctors and nurses focused on fixing Gwen's heart. What hospital had all of that?
It was all right here at RMC.
Your neighborhood Grub Mart is your one-stop shop for everything you need when you're on the go. Grub Mart features the best prices on Coke and Pepsi products and is the home to the 99-cent bag of ice every day. And Grub Mart is your exclusive home for the popcorn bucket. Purchase yours for only $5.99, then bring it for free refills throughout the year. And save every day with your Grub Mart Super Saver card. When you're on the go, it's good to know Grub Mart has everything you need. Gas, diesel, and delicious Oleo donuts. In business over 78 years, visit your local Grub Mart today.
Red Threads, powered by O-Brand. Online, they've got all kinds of great merchandise. The screen printing is phenomenal. They print our Aniston Orthopedics Team of the Week score shirts with Ted's Carpet and Floor, and they are phenomenal, high-quality T-shirts. They also have the best selection of Jacksonville State merchandise that you're going to find anywhere, and it's high-quality merchandise, and you can visit that on the square in Jacksonville at their storefront. I was in there just last week, and they have, it's the quality, that's the thing, of the Red Threads merchandise they have there. The best selection of Jacksonville State merchandise ever in Jacksonville. Stop by and see them on the square in Jacksonville. Red Threads bringing you our highlights, and we have more highlights. Gerhard Mathangani, both of you guys, for various reasons, we're in Heflin tonight at the pit, Ellie Bell Field. Cleburne County and Wellborn playing for the first time in 17 years. Again, kind of like we talked about with Oxford and Jacksonville. Glad to see these old rivalries, these schools that are close together to each other. True tradition. I mean, you talk about Heflin and Wellborn dripping with tradition. A lot of that because of this man right here. Yep. On the Heflin side of things. Great matchup tonight. Cleburne County not in the playoffs because, hey, they're in that tough 4A Region 4. Exactly but right. Wellborn headed to the 3A playoffs.
Yeah, Wellborn is, and I'll tell you what, it's one of those games where John mentioned it's good to see it back on the schedule, number one. But then secondly, in any given year, let's just take this year out of it. Any given year, this could be 2 playoff teams, battling for a spot. So right now is Wellborn playing that tune-up game over at Ellie Bell Field in Heflin. Scores 21-9 when we get there at halftime. Wellborn with the lead here, and it is Cleburne County football. It's Hunter Gore. Nice pass here to Bo Clay. 12 yards, great grab. Picks up a first down here. But that drive would stall. It is now Wellborn's ball. Watch Ahmed Knoll cut up the middle. He's a real weapon here, really shifty. Gets the ball over to midfield, 20-plus yards on the carry. A little bit later on, though, Wellborn's Grayson Johnson rolling out, but his pass is picked off here by Nate Adams. I'll get him in the frame here in just a second. There he is, Nate Adams with the interception. But that drive would end in a turnover itself because anything you can do, I can do better, Wellborn says. This pass picked off here by Noah Screws, and it goes right back over to the Walter Wellborn Panthers. And the defense for Wellborn steps up, big 75 and 76. Let's give them credit. Andrew Salter, Jasilas Montgomery, combined on the tackle for loss there. Great play there by the Wellborn Panthers. Guys, I was at 2 games, got no scores, but Wellborn ends up getting the win here, 27-9. So Wellborn going into the playoffs with a little bit of mojo, and as you said, John, first time in 17 years these two teams hooking back up in a great game.
And it was good because, Coach, you and I were at that Wellborn game when they were playing Randolph County, and we saw Grayson Johnson go out, and he's had an injury, so good to see him back on the field tonight.
Yeah, and I got a couple of stats, and he's going to be in one of them. And both teams, actually, they got after each other. It's very physical. Wellborn got off to a very fast start. You didn't get to see that part. Yeah. You know, they go down, they score a touchdown, and then Cleburne County fumbled the kickoff, and they got it right back and scored. So they got off to a real fast start. After that, they pretty much matched scores when you left. They kind of matched their scores. But it was a very interesting game to watch. You know, Wellborn ended up rushing for 262 yards, and that's what they do. That's their MO. They passed for 53 for a total of 315. Number 42, Ahmad Noel, had 112 yards rushing tonight. But here's where the surprise come. Grayson threw his first TD pass to Ethan Carroll tonight in the last regular season game. That was his first TD pass, so you wasn't going to see a whole lot of touchdown passes.
Exactly.
But they got it when they can, and then and they threw the ball right before halftime. They threw it, and they had an interception. But they're throwing the ball enough that people are going to have to honor it, and they're going to do a good job. And the thing for Coach Smith is now take this week of practice and get healthy, because if he can get healthy, they've got a chance. Because, you know, you get in the playoffs, you never know what happened. That ball, it's going to bounce all different ways. But I'm going to try to mention something on the Cleburne County side.
Yeah.
Tonight, they had in between the first and second quarter, they had called Coach Swafford, and it's Scotty Swafford, and his daddy was Bobby Swafford, who passed away this summer. And Scotty had been one of my volunteer coaches. He was with us actually before I became a head coach, but he was with me, and he would signal in plays and coached our quarterbacks for a long time, 30 plus years. Scotty was there for 30 years of voluntary coaching service, and I just was sitting there tonight when they brought him out there with his family. And boy, they had called him out of the press box and said the headsets were broke. I was standing there when they come by, and he said, "What's wrong?" I mean, asking me like I know. I said, "The headsets are probably tore up. That's why they brought you down here." So he comes down here and has no clue what's going on. And then they bring him out there, and he looks, and he comes down there, and I can tell things were getting teary-eyed. I was. His wife, his daughter, who's a senior cheerleader this year, his son, Brock Swafford, played quarterback for me. He's been a manager at Alabama for 4 years. So just a great family. But I was wondering, things were going through my mind, and me and him talked before the game about some things, and then right then afterwards he talked to me, and he said, "How far have we driven together?" We thought, how many miles that we've ridden on a cheese wagon, that's what we call buses, the cheese wagon, or on a charter bus. And I was sitting there thinking, from Andalusia to Thomasville to
Deshler.
Tuscumbia and Deshler to Stevenson, Alabama, and North Jackson. We've just, in Andalusia, I mentioned that, and we've just about covered all 4 corners of the state in driving around. And we mentioned one night we're going to Stevenson, and on our way back, that was in 2010, me and him were both sitting in the bus, and he was behind me, and my son was behind him. And our bus driver, I said, "What was that noise?" We heard a big loud noise. He said, "It's just a mirror. We hit the bridge." And we knocked the mirror off the bridge going from Scottsboro over to Scottsboro
Tennessee River.
Yeah, we went to Tennessee River. And he said, "Don't worry about it, I'll fix it." And we had no mirror. I did not sleep the rest of the way home. But have to give congratulations to Scotty for his 30 years of service to Cleburne County High School. Can't ask for no better than Scotty Swafford.
Absolutely. 100%. Time for our last Team 1 Chevrolet of Gadsden Extra Point. We talked about the #1 offense in the state. Class 2A5 finishes the regular season with the top defense in Alabama in high school football. The Red Devils entered tonight's game against Sylvania, giving up just 5 points per game. Only 2 teams have scored in double digits versus the Red Devils, and the most points given up in any one game was 14. 5 has recorded 4 shutouts in their first 9 games. They did not shut out Sylvania tonight, but 5 wins to remain undefeated as they head into the Class 2A state playoffs. When we come back, we are going to have our final East Alabama Top 10 of the year, and we'll name our Ted's Carpet and Floor Team of the Week.
Your home is a reflection of you, whether that's classic, farm style, or something unique. We at Ted's Carpet and Floor understand that, and we'll help you through the selection, finance, and installation process. We have an extensive selection of designer tiles, carpet, laminate, and hardwood. Let us help you choose the perfect granite or quartz to customize your kitchen or bathroom. We offer free in-home measurements, estimates, and design consultations. Ted's Carpet and Floor, your style, our passion.
When you shop at Pee Wee Turner Motors, you will be a winner. As lifelong supporters of East Alabama athletics, we at Pee Wee Turner Motors would like to invite you to check out our quality inventory of trucks, cars, and SUVs at PeeWeeTurnerMotors.net. We always guarantee credit approval and look forward to serving you and your family at Pee Wee Turner Motors on Quintard Avenue, Anniston.
Cash back. Plain and simple. That's what you'll get on the Noble Bank Cash Back account. No tricks, no gimmicky names, just free accounts that pay you cash back. If unlimited transactions, fraud protection, and refunds on ATM withdrawal fees nationwide sounds like your kind of banking, visit us at noblebank.com and learn more about the Noble Cash Back account. Welcome to personal banking. Welcome to Noble Bank and Trust. Noblebank.com. Member FDIC.
Anniston Orthopedics continues to provide a legacy of outstanding sports injury care on and off the field, keeping our players in the game. Anniston Orthopedics offers our Saturday morning sports injury clinic from 8 to 10 a.m. throughout the high school football season. Anniston Orthopedics also offers full-service physical therapy and occupational therapy departments. To learn more, visit our website at www.annistonortho.com. Anniston Orthopedics, located in the Tyler Center adjacent to RMC.
Are you ready for some football? Come in all month long and take a test drive at Team 1 Chevrolet and have a chance to win an Alabama, Auburn tailgate, or the ultimate tailgate package. Log on to ChevroletofGadsden.com for complete details. Chevrolet of Gadsden, where everyone's a winner. Someone's going to win an Alabama tailgate, someone's going to win an Auburn tailgate, and somebody's going to win the ultimate grand prize, including grill, generator, and big screen TV. Chevrolet of Gadsden, home of the best people, the best service, period.
High school football, Alabama after the game on a Football Friday night presented by the Calhoun County Commission. Jon Holder, Gerhard Mathangani, Coach Michael Short with us as we wrap things up. Before we get to our East Alabama Top 10 and our Team of the Week announcement, I want to say a very special recognition to Jimmy Buckaloo. He's the white hat there at Lamar Field in Oxford tonight. 42 years of officiating high school football, and he told me that tonight was his last game ever. He's not going to the playoffs. I think that's Wayne Carden maybe right there as well. It was Wayne. And you see him walking, and he came up to me, and he was just really an awesome night for him. His last game out of 42 years of officiating will be the Oxford-Jacksonville game. Kind of fitting, guys, that he would have two Calhoun County teams playing each other in his final game that he officiated tonight. One of the great ambassadors for officiating, a great high school official, and someone who has given their lives to high school athletics, Jimmy Buckaloo.
Speechless. Yeah. I've had him many a times. We have hollered at each other. We've thrown stuff at each other. But much respect for Buckaloo. I mean, I just call him Buck all the time. Just much respect to him and what he's meant to officiating. Yeah. He's also, guys, a Vietnam vet.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, he went over there and did the real thing so we could do what we do here.
Exactly.
And he was a part of that, and that's why he's so important. And with Carden to be there, I saw him at the game too. And when I come up the sidelines, Buckaloo just did me a little salute right there, and I knew then somebody told me it was his last game. But I want to tell you what, we lose a good one, but he won't be far away. He said that before, but man, he's got bionic legs and everything else put together.
And I was going to.
He's been put back together.
Exactly. I was going to talk about that aspect as well. He doesn't talk about it much, but he's had to battle a lot of health problems. Just over the course of time. but he always battled and he was always there with a smile on his face. Whenever he would talk to us in the media, talk to players, talk to coaches, he was there for what you're supposed to be there for as an official, being there for the kids, the students, the environment. The sport will really miss him. He was fantastic.
He will, and if Alan Gilbert, you need to make sure you get him up there and let him start working with some of those younger
100%.
kids and working with them. So hats off to Buck. I mean, just to have him and that be his last one, and to be an Oxford-Jacksonville game, I mean, that had to be important to him, and just hats off to him and everything he does. My hats off to you, buddy.
The Byrds back in the 1960s had a song called Turn, Turn, Turn. We're going to turn, 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 as we do every Friday night. It's that time of night where we turn to the East Alabama Top 10, presented by Awards to Remember. This is our final East Alabama Top 10. Here we go. Number 10, nobody dropped out this week, but there was a lot of movement. Number 10, with their loss tonight, I'm going to keep them there. Their starting quarterback was out. They lost to Ranburne, but also Randolph County's only other loss was to Dadeville. They're 8-2, going to keep them at 10. Number 9, the Jacksonville Golden Eagles. I know Jacksonville has 3 losses, but those 3 losses to Hanley, Anniston, and Oxford.
Right.
They're staying in the top 10. Number 8, Cherokee County Warriors again. They've lost a couple of games, but they lost to 6A Fort Payne. Going to keep them in the top 10. They dropped from way up here to the second half of the top 10. Keep them there at number 8. Number 7, BB Comer rising a little bit. They had an open date this week. Number 6 in our East Alabama top 10, Central Clay County. Really an underrated big win tonight. Wetumpka was a good 6A team. Clay Central beat them and scored 35 points. Number 5, the Moody Blue Devils. They had an open date heading to the 5A playoffs with a 9-1 record. Number 4, the Hanley Tigers, another team that had an open date tonight. Number 3 in our East Alabama top 10, the Piedmont Bulldogs with that 3-touchdown win at 5A Sylacauga tonight. Number 2, another team that had an open date, the Spring Garden Panthers, a region champion with only 1 loss on the year. And number 1, another team that had an open date tonight. This was a common theme, the Anniston High School Bulldogs at number 1. So there's our final East Alabama top 10, guys. Pretty good football teams right there.
It was, and I got to go ahead and mention it. I got it out here. Coach Smith, he sent it to me a while ago. Jack Hayes tonight, he's been breaking records all year, and he broke another one tonight. He had 304 yards passing tonight with 4 touchdowns. He had 170 yards rushing with 2 touchdowns. His TD passes went to Trent Young, Max Hansen, and Ishmael Bethel had 2 of them. But tonight, Jack Hayes set another state record for career total offense, which was held by Kristen Story of Lynette. Jack needed 189 yards heading into the game. He just got 474 yards. Before it's done, they may not nobody ever catch it.
Yeah.
And the thing about this is, of all the records he's broken, this one to me, guys, was the most impressive. So we're talking about total offense in the history of high school football. Most high school football started in this state about 1920, 1925. Think about the thousands and thousands and thousands of great high school football players that we have had in this state in every classification, big school, small school, going back 100 years plus, and he has generated more offense, think about this, than any other player in state history right here in East Alabama and Calhoun County.
What I really love about it is going into the year, there was a lot of this hype because we knew he was on the stepping stone. He was at the door of a lot of these records. For the most part, I've talked to him on a few occasions over the course of the year. He doesn't think about these things. It just doesn't enter his mind. He just wants to go and compete and play ball. So even with all the expectations heaped upon him, he just goes out and plays ball. And as you mentioned, he needed south of 200 yards. He picks up 400, and he goes and he gets the record on top of the other major state records that he's gotten. On top of just the accomplishments themselves, it's the kid and the way he's approached this year that I find super spectacular.
The thing that impresses me the most is who he's gotten it against. He's been in that ultra successful 3A region for several years when he's been playing.
Yeah.
when you had Welborn and Ohatchee and all them people. And then this year they throw in the fact that on their schedule, because they have a hard time scheduling, they got Cherokee County. They were up here on this board. They had Anniston. They're up here on this board. And then they go play a used to be 6A, drop down 5A Sylacauga, who's got athletes. They're just playing a bunch of 9th and 10th graders. So he was able to go out there and do it against good competition. And you know what? You got to give your hats off, because his brother was the same way, to his mother and daddy. I mean, they've done an excellent job in raising those two young men to be humbled, especially when he's had everything thrown to him. A lot of kids couldn't handle that, and he handled it well.
100%.
One final piece of business, and then we will start the state playoffs here on High School Football Alabama after the game next week. But before we get there, we've got another Team of the Week announcement. Our Ted's Carpet and Floor Team of the Week for Week 11 of the high school football season. The Oxford High School Yellow Jackets. Oxford tonight beating Jacksonville, their first meeting with a team from Calhoun County in 16 years. Their first, they won tonight very impressively, 34-28 over the Jacksonville Golden Eagles, knocking off the number 7 team in Class 4A in the state of Alabama. Congratulations to Coach Sam Adams and the Oxford Yellow Jackets, our Ted's Carpet and Floor Team of the Week. Have a blessed weekend. We'll see you back here next Friday night, live on Facebook and YouTube.
High School Football Alabama Scoreboard is a production of Fairfax Garden Media.